All right. Yes, here we are. Okay. So I set it on public.
Yep.
Bang. And now on my channel, you should see on top the live stream.
Yep, I see it. I see it there.
Yes. So click it.
Yep.
Very nice. Okay. I keep that.
All right.
Yeah. So I post the first thing. I need the link. That was it.
Yeah, it definitely has a little bit of a delay to it. It's probably like, I'd say 5 seconds.
So the URL. So I copy the URL and here, bam. Okay, I post the link on my page, Facebook page. Bing. So you can send it wherever you want. And I also do it on Reddit. Bam bam. Okay. Po. Reddit is done. So I just.
Are you posting it in like Energica?
Say?
Are you posting it in just like Energica?
Oh. Wait a second. I just share it in some groups. Da-dum, 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 da-dum.
All right.
Doubters and of electric motor. You will find. So, post it on Energica, post it on Zero Motorcycles, post it on Central Florida. Then so we already have some viewers. Yo, people will be right here.
Yeah,
so we just prepared for something, doing spreading the message to some Facebook, Insta, wherever posts, social media stuff. We'll be right back here. So just having some little delay, whatever. And if you feel free, spread the link wherever you want, wherever you like. So bingo. Back. Okay, perfect. More than perfect. Awesome. Extreme cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, now so I need the chat here. Over here, where's the chat?
Alrighty. Right now. See.
So perfect. Cool.
Alright, I got one more to go and then I'm done.
Okay. You're posting wild like.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm sure that to...
So let everyone know here is the show to join. I mean, many people got some questions today. They get answers. And by the way, it's the first live stream I ever done. So don't kill me
Yeah.
if something is wrong. Something, it's not planned. It's very spontaneous.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty. I should be all good at this point. We're looking good. Alrighty.
Okay, super cool, super cool.
Awesome. Alrighty.
Okay.
So,
Hey, could someone write in the chat if you hear me and Nick proper? Is sound is that okay? It's too loud. It's too south. Let me know. As I told you, first live stream here. Ask me anything, Lex Summer and Nick Westerman. He's yeah, first. By the way, introduce yourself. You bought an Energica. That's by the way, and people knows you from Facebook, whatever groups and stuff. So welcome to the show. Introduce yourself. Who you are?
yeah. So, hi everyone. My name's Nick, and I have the channel Energetic, if you guys don't already know. And so I actually just bought an Energica it's probably been almost 2 months now. So, yeah, it's really exciting.
Okay, nice. And yeah, today we do some Q&A, but by the way, also interview with you because I got 60,000 miles of experience, or no, 60,000 kilometers experience on the Energica Zero motorcycles and Harley Livewire, and also rode how do you call it, Suron and other electric scooters. So in total, I have 60,000 kilometers of experience, and you have so far 500 miles. Is that right?
Yeah, it's only about 500 right now.
Okay, but this is the cool thing because I'm very often solving some problems, which for me as an electric rider is it's the everyday hustle. It's no big deal, and some people don't know if electric works or what's the struggle, what's the pain, what's the problems you have to deal with. And this is the experience. I mean, that first experience, first hands on the motor on an electric motorcycle, which is very valuable from you. So can you tell me what was your first when you picked up the bike? What was your first ride home? How did you have range anxiety, or how can we imagine that?
So actually, I got the bike in off of like this truck or whatever, and like drove it. I had to like drive it up my driveway, and so I had to go get tags for that day, and I was like super stoked, obviously, because it was a new bike.
Yeah.
And so the first time I actually really like took the bike out, I took it just on like a short trip to a nearby town, and it was only about like 30 miles, but I had absolutely no issues with the bike. You know, it just acted flawlessly, and I had no bit of range anxiety at all. Just yeah, and the bike wasn't even fully charged. I think it was at like 60% or something like that, and I had no problems.
Okay. And when did you charge it the first time up to 100, or at home or where?
So actually, a lot of my charging currently has been at home just because of, you know, this whole pandemic thing. But anyhow, so a lot of my charging has been level one up to this point, but I have also tried some level two and level three chargers in town, and yeah, it's very crazy to see them work in comparison to a level one charger.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. So
Right.
wait a second. I the chat doesn't work here in the screen. So yeah, people can write on the chatter box, and we will answer questions when they come up. But if the chat doesn't work, I mean, come on, what's going on here? So let me try to fix that short.
All right.
Um, so yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Yeah. So, ba bam, ba bam. So, hello, welcome, JD Jeffers. Thank you for the thumbs up. And back to the topic. Yeah, your first charge, and yeah, this
Yeah.
CCS charging is pretty. I mean, if you never saw this or never experienced that, you can't imagine how crazy fast it is. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's mind blowing. It's faster than you can imagine. And based on my experience, when I go on trips with other motorcyclists,
Hmm.
we're just doing breaks or yeah, having lunch or drink something. We ride for
Right.
an hour or two, and then we do a break, and it charges up. It's not. You don't have to wait for the bike. The bike is ready to go even faster than you are. So maybe yeah, a normal stop when you go for a pee takes 5 to 10 minutes, depends on how much you have to do. And
Right.
or when you go for some lunch, you take 20 to 30 minutes, and
Hmm.
in this time the bike is already charged, so it's not
Yeah.
it's the bike
Um,
doesn't stop you for goes on some trips,
oh yeah,
but
most certainly. So, one thing that I found is that I know people even say the level two on this bike's kind of on the slow side, but honestly, the one time I like went into town just to go get lunch,
yeah,
and I think I had like 80% left because I charged it up to 100, and I stopped at a level two charger, and then when I was done lunch, the bike was charged,
yeah,
and that's only level two, so level three is way faster than that.
absolutely. People are complaining about when they compare zero motorcycles versus Energica. They say, yeah, but the zero motorcycle has 12 kilowatt AC charger, and
Yeah.
yeah, you know this topic. It's a little bit annoying, but I understand in some circumstance. I observing other YouTubers which they do electric motorcycle motovlogs, and of course on
Right.
some places there's no sufficient CCS charging network at the moment. Based on my
Oh
experience, when I
yeah.
bought the Zero motorcycle, here in Switzerland, we had rare CCS charging stations. There was not, it
Hmm.
was not like today. 1 or 2 years later, the CCS is absolutely dominating, and believe it or not, this
Right.
can and will change in your country pretty fast. Also, I mean, 5 years ago, you never. I thought you have no CCS available in your surroundings, right? So
Yeah. So, actually, when I started looking at electric motorcycles in general, I kind of looked into like my charging network, obviously, before I bought one. Probably a smart
absolutely,
thing to do.
yeah. Step one, yeah,
And even around me, there used to be like it used to be pretty much all level twos. There, like in the past few years, we actually have been getting more DC. So we have currently in around me, within I'd say like 30 miles of me, we have about three or four DC fast chargers, and I'd say we have like probably 15 level two chargers around, which is a lot. And it just seems like the network in America is kind of slow right now, and compared to other countries, obviously, because I've seen like you and Sam, both you have like level threes everywhere. Whereas for us, it's kind of a little bit further spread out. Also, considering our country is a lot bigger, but
yeah. But the
Um,
network so far is pretty fast growing,
oh yes.
and maybe I remember some videos from Sam. For the people who don't know New Zealand, checked out his channel. Is awesome, and you saw this old elder videos which he was going for with a zero motorcycle across his country and riding around and looking for some type 2 or any electricity plug and stuff just to charge it up. It was 2 or 3 years ago, and I didn't know if the CCS charger network is so widely applied right now. Like you will see the videos from his trip. He was cruising around New Zealand in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and the network is growing pretty fast. And
Yes.
this is the same. I mean, at your country, at your circumstance, it's
Yeah.
for many people. Think it's a deal breaker if they don't know where to charge. And it's actually what you done. Step one is check out some applications or Google Maps or whatever and type in charging
mhm.
stations, and you will find out is there some sort of charging stations in your environment, and from then you can show like you did which bike suits to my usage or my daily commute, whatever you want to use. Yeah,
Right. One thing to definitely add on that, especially with the new administration incoming, they said that one thing they're going to work on is getting a line of DC fast chargers all the way down I-95. So that's super exciting. I don't know if you know that road, but it's extremely popular in America.
yeah,
So that'll allow you to go like down, like for example, I can go down the entire east coast of the US and have chargers there. So that's really awesome and something I'm looking forward to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the network is really it's growing a lot faster than you think, and CCS is becoming extremely more popular. We'll just have to see in time like what happens, but I certainly think there are more chargers than you think there actually is.
Yeah, check out your local network or applications, whatever, and or ask in some Facebook group, hey, which application do you use? I mean, I can give you here some advice. Use Swiss Charge because Swiss Charge is here pretty good, but in the US or Germany or whatever, it's different. So ask in your group
Right.
where I can get some information, and then you can see, hey, plenty charging stations. Yeah, you have to zoom in to see something. It's crazy. Yeah,
Oh yeah. So one thing I definitely recommend for anybody who hasn't really checked it out, if you're like on the fence about buying an electric vehicle right now, I would highly recommend downloading the PlugShare app in the App Store. It's really great for just seeing like what your charging network is and just seeing what's around you, so then you can kind of gauge what you actually need or want.
yeah, yeah, definitely. PlugShare is a good advice. So, but later on you will find out which charging or payment solution is best or is the cheapest or suits best for your purpose. But first, yeah, PlugShare or something like this is a good basement, so you can check out where charging stations are. So,
Hmm.
but back to topic, I want to know. Um, I mean, when somebody asks me why do you ride electric or what's the benefit, or you always have some chat with some strangers and they asking, is it something, and I say, come on, get lost,
Yeah.
man. It's annoying, but the reason
Yeah.
why I bought this, I say buying an energy guy is not smart. Believe it or not, it's expensive, and if you don't feel that, if you're not absolutely into motorcycles, it's a lot of money. But if you feel that passion and have a love for riding motorcycles, man, this bike will convince you. This will change your mind pretty fast, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
And
So
what was your kind? Yeah, putting the money on the desk. So here it is. Here, buy it. What's the final decision?
so actually what I did to like actually find my bike is a little weird. So I went to this dealership in Maryland, and they're called Cyclemax, I believe, and they had a 2018 Ego, I want to say, there to like test drive, and I was kind of they also had zeros there as well, so it was like kind of a mixture of like all the electrics, but um, it was really like eye opening to me because normally like before I owned my Ego, I actually had a CBR, Honda CBR, which is a sport bike, and it was just really eye opening to me when I took the Ego and even the zeros for a test drive. It was just like crazy to see, you know, these things work and they actually, are viable options now.
Yeah,
Because like 5, 10 years ago, it was really hard to say that electrics were like comparable to a gas bike because they just weren't at the time. The technology wasn't there, but now that the technology is here, it's just crazy. So to talk more about like my end experience. So I went on that test drive and I was like absolutely like enthralled with this bike. It was so cool,
yeah,
and I had to have one at that point. So what I did is I started looking on Energica's website. They have this thing. It's called like Find My Energica or Find My Electric or something like that.
yeah,
And there's a lot of great deals right now on just basic used Energicas. I mean, you can get the old bodies. You can get like an older model. You can probably get a new 2020 at this point. So yeah, there's a lot of options on there, and I found a 2016 Ego. It was one of the Eco 45 bikes, and so yeah, I just like at that point I just said I had to buy it. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of, I guess, foreshadowing of what happened.
yeah. This is what you did. You got this pretty smart deal. I mean, I paid almost the full price. Had not the absolutely full, but almost. And you got
Right.
pretty sick deal because it's a used or no, that's it's not a used one. It's a elder one, a
It's
2070 or something model.
yeah, it's their CPO program, their
Yeah,
certified
yeah.
pre-owned.
And this is what I talk about. Let me show you. Yeah, here. Here we got some. I've did some video how to get a sick electric deal for cheap. I did already some topics on my YouTube channel, talking about where you can get a good deal. And when you watch the video or go in some Facebook groups or whatever, you will find a used one or yeah, just an Energica for real low money. And I really recommend if you can
Oh yeah.
afford the full price, watch around, ask somebody in Facebook groups or Reddit, wherever. Probably you will find the same good deal as you. And man, it's
Hmm.
believe it or not, it's
And another thing to consider, I know a lot of people on the lower small battery egos, they're like worried about the range anxiety and
yeah,
all.
yeah, absolutely,
But one thing to consider is, the 21 and a half bikes just came out, about 6 months ago. It's probably a little more than that now, but even so, if you are worried about that range and you want that extra range, just wait another, I'd say, 6 months or so until the 21 and a half bikes start popping up on the used market, and then you can, pick one of those up for a cheap deal as well.
absolutely. If you want to be the first guy and you can afford it, go for it, or any motorcycle else.
Right.
But otherwise, wait 1 or 2 years. Maybe it's wait for for a really good deal and make a smart decision.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So
Yeah. Yeah, I really think just the used market for them is actually it's better than you think.
yeah,
Even for like a small company like Energica, they have quite a few bikes on there. I'd say they probably have, I'd say, at least 10 bikes.
yeah. For example, if I see also very cheap zero motorcycles on some
Oh
yeah
yes,
groups, they are way below $10,000. They are 5 to 6, 7, 8 thousand. It's
right.
it's insane how cheap they go. And if
Oh yeah.
if you add or if you do the math and calculate the entire cost of all the expenses and stuff, this is the most expensive thing will be the tires, changing tires or tires and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
yeah, it's so cheap.
Yeah, especially on the ego. One thing to consider is, yeah, when you actually, pay, like, I know maybe for some people, like, 10 grand is a lot to dump on a bike,
Yeah,
but when you dump that money, after that, the amount that you have to spend is so, so, so little.
absolutely.
It's crazy.
If
It's
you
so crazy how little.
if you just calculate the total cost of ownership, it's no word. Yeah,
Oh yeah. And on top of that, it's a lot less of a hassle. Like with my gas bike,
yeah,
like I had to change like the cam tensioner and all this other hooey and change the oil all the time.
yeah.
But with this thing, I just like don't have to touch it. I just put it in the garage and ride it when I want to.
Absolutely. It's from Energica. It's a little bit different. You have to do service for the oil bath and cooling fluids and braking fluids as well. So it's and if people say yeah, electric motorcycles are absolutely maintenance free, this is not true. But if you calculate the cost for 10,000 kilometers or something, hell, it's a quarter of the price if you compare it to some similar R1 or Ducati V4
Right.
whatever, or
Oh
double
yeah.
R. It's a quarter of the what you have to pay for the maintenance.
Oh,
So
most certainly.
yeah, just want to
Um,
say, some people are expecting it's absolutely for free, and this is not true. Just want to say,
yeah, that's just the case with any motorcycle in general. Like every motorcycle has wear parts, even the Zero does, like it's gonna snap a belt sometime and you're gonna have to put a belt on it.
yeah,
But um, you know, one thing to consider is that you have to do the maintenance a ton more on a gas bike. Like for the amount of time that or like I have to change my oil half as often as you,
yeah.
and then the coolant really you just gotta like keep checking that. You gotta change it eventually, but it'll probably last you like 5 years or something, and that's the same with the brake fluid. It's stuff that you don't have to change very often, and it's really not even a big inconvenience to change it.
Yeah, it's way more convenient. It's more riding instead of doing
More riding
something
instead
else
of fixing.
of
Yep.
maintenance. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So by the way, for all the viewers I see here with how many, not it's not so much, about 10 viewers we have, plus minus. Um, don't hesitate to drop something in the chatter box if you have any questions. Depends electric motorcycle. Even you're the biggest hater or doubter, um, just ask. This is the live stream for. Just join and ask. We will talk about any
Right.
questions.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
most,
even like concerns.
yeah. Whoops. My light was off. Give me a second. Yeah, I drive them with batteries. I don't have the proper cable for that. So unprofessional, so unprofessional. So now I'm right back. Yeah. Yeah, just don't hesitate just to ask anything. Yeah, here the first one, Brad K. Man, welcome to the show, Brad. Uh,
Hey, Brad.
yeah, how it performs or on the track. Track is different experience. Um, so there is when you buy the standard version, Ego Plus or Ego just the street version, the bike you can ride legal on public roads. It's a different story instead of the Kit Corsa or yeah whatever. Maybe watch the video. I did the interview with Campiero Testoni from Energica. He explains a little bit more about what's the difference, what they change, which parts. But overall, even the standard version is pretty fast and pretty good on track. So the bike is not a limitation. It's even more your talent, or yeah, it's depend on you how fast you can go on tires, you overall experience, skills. So let me tell you, I was on some tracks, and it doesn't it it doesn't end like I hope. I was blocked on some tracks. I'm blocked. I am not able to ride anymore there because they have really they fear electric motorcycles. You know, in this category, if you go to track, every motorcycle have different adjustments, different specifications. Some can really good overtake while braking or into the turn or accelerating. It depends even on the rider and the motorcycle. And energic or electric motorcycles is definitely when you're out of the turn in acceleration, bam, you will literally burn everything. If your skill is enough, hell, they will hate you. They will hate you. No doubt, man. That's the downside. So, but if you find a track which is electric friendly, go for it. And charging is also a kind of an issue on track. So bring your own charger, CCS charger with. Maybe you can borrow some and plug it in at the at some. They have some plugs which deliver more power, and then you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Endless riding.
Yeah. I have seen some videos of some people able to charge their electric bikes via level 2, and level 2 I think should be fast enough. I'm not 100% on this, but some places you're stuck to a wall plug, but other tracks they have like 240 volts for like a welder or something, and you can just borrow their plug and then bam, you're on 240.
Yeah, it's kind like this. Because when you go with a level 2, you have a slower charge. It doesn't overheat or something or whatever, but you have to do very long breaks between. My experience is if you have a 6 kilowatt or 12 kilowatt CCS charging, this is 6 to 10 kilowatt charging is sufficient. So you can do 20 to 30 minutes between sessions because you don't ride it from 100 to 0. You probably ride it for a few laps from 30 or 40% down, and then you go for a recharge 80, 90, and then you go back on the track next session. So that's
Right.
that's how I did. Yeah.
Yeah, and with level 2 you'd probably have fast enough speeds because I'd say like my bike when it's at like 60% on a level 2 probably takes about 50 minutes to charge, so you should have enough charge at that
Yeah.
point on a level 2.
If you wanna
And
go more sessions or wanna do sessions or riding harder, yeah, you can switch to a CCS, or even the level 2 would be sufficient. Just planning, you have to do more breaks or longer breaks. That's it.
oh yeah.
And people will hate you, no doubt. They will hate you because in some way it's so unfair. Believe it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. One thing to note, a track nearby me actually has a CCS charger there, so I can charge it 20 kilowatts or whatever. So for me, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, Brad wrote another questions. How it is with supermoto or off-road bikes, because yeah, the FXS, the Zero FXS, with enough quick charge, you can charge it pretty fast. That's true. I think heat from the engine and the battery is the is at some point the limitation. And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but Zero FX is not a dirt bike. It's a commuter bike. If you ride that bike hard, damn, could be and pretty horrible. I really would recommend go for Suron Storm B, or if you can buy some an Alta. ultra motorcycles. These are real dirt bikes or supermoto bikes. Um,
Yeah.
but they yeah, charging is pretty slow. It's slower, yeah. But definitely, what I hear from Germany, from some tracks, dirt tracks, they go with the KTM. KTM is pretty
Yeah,
well
the
known,
case. Yeah.
pretty wide applied here. The
Hmm.
electric KTM, they kill almost anything, because on dirt, just to rev it up the RPMs when you're out of the turn, you need to be a pro rider to have the right gear in the right moment. And yeah, but
Right.
for if you're not a pro rider, if you just like me, fun rider, it's definitely easier to go with electric, because you can crank the throttle and bam, power comes in when you need it. And you will
Right.
think about, in any turn, if you're just a quarter seconds faster on a track, you have, for example, 8 turns. Every lap you're 2 seconds faster with an electric. The small difference
Oh yeah.
makes it, as long you have enough skills.
And the one good thing to note is that set or electrics are also really benefited on a like short race. So let's say you only have like a 5 lap race or something, they're really benefiting because their performance is really good on
Yeah,
that start. Like they're gonna have maximum performance when you start the race, and so it would definitely be really good to have a electric bike for any kind of short race.
definitely. Yeah. By the way, welcome. What's to the wheels? Welcome to the
Yeah,
chat.
welcome.
Welcome to our live stream. He has let me if correct me if I'm wrong. He writes SS9, or I don't know if it's an SS9 or an EVA. Don't
No,
get me
he
wrong.
has he has a 13 kilowatt Evo. I've
Ah,
seen his
okay.
videos.
So you watched his channel, right?
Yeah,
That's the way you
yeah.
did. That's the way you did. You get information from YouTube, from social media. How's about the bike, right? Which
Yeah,
cha-
most certainly.
which channel did you discover it first?
Sorry.
Which channel did you discover it first from all, you know?
So, actually, I started with New Zealand just because I think it was like the first thing that popped up or whatever. And then after that, I just kind of started like dispersing out and looking at other channels and just looking at different content because at that point then I kind of knew the Ego, the Eva, and the SS9 existed, so I was like really interested. Because at first, before that, the only thing I knew that existed at the time was zeros, so it was kind of eye-opening, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So hey, let's jump to the next question, Brad. Hey,
Yeah.
don't hesitate. This live stream is made for Q&A. So hit me with questions,
Hmm.
as long
Yeah.
are you not behave like an asshole. It's everything is cool, man.
Yeah. Ask
But
as many as you want. I promise. You're good.
um, long distance ride. Let me show you. Let's go over here.
So
This one.
I'll just give my experience. So I've taken the longest ride I've taken at this point is probably I'd say about around the 150-mile mark,
Yeah,
and so that's like I guess kind of a long ride, but not really. But honestly, the Energica can easily take on long rides. It's no problem. And the
absolutely.
reason because of this is because you have that DC fast charging, and I've never had any kind of overheating issues with mine as well with the temperature or anything like that. Like for example, I went to a DC station with like 40% or whatever, and plugged it in. Just walked inside, got a drink, talked to some guy because he was curious about the bike,
Yeah,
and
that's oh,
came back out. Came back out. The bike was charged. Battery temperature wise, it was still in the green, and move on. I think the only time where the 13.4 bike could start heating up is if you like take it to the track or something. That's where that kind of stress on the battery is going to really take the temperature up. But just for daily like commuting riding or going long distance riding like that, you shouldn't have a problem.
Absolutely. Even if you watch Sam's channel or my one, I did some trip videos like this one, range test on Energica. This is the 30.4 kilowatt battery. And if you watch the video, I will explain, you will see that, and I will explain how I achieved that range of 220 kilometers. It's, you can do the math, how many miles it is, but it's pretty far. I was riding for 4 hours constantly on public roads. 4 hours of riding, man, believe it or not. And until I drove it from 100 to absolutely 0% down. So for this is, I was riding very, very conservative. Let me tell you,
Hmm.
car speed. I was just not overtaking, not going sporty, and I was just going with traffic, not slower, not faster, just with traffic. Did
Hmm.
220 kilometers, and believe it or not, if I did 2 or 3 breaks um, without charging. Normally, I would charge anyways because when you're so on such a long trip, you go anyways for a stop and do a recharge, and
Hmm.
it doesn't. Yeah, this bike is definitely made for longer trips, and also you can go on track. Um,
Yeah.
it's different, but it's not a limitation. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, from everything I've seen at this point, I could probably say that any bike on the market right now with a CCS charger, you could take on a long distance trip.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. But when you talk about any bike, I was just going for a test ride with the Livewire, and believe it or
Yeah,
not, the Livewire is a pretty good motorcycle from the
yeah.
build quality and how it behaved to ride. It's
Hmm.
I like it, but what I don't like is CCS don't work any at this time. It's a pain in the ass. I hope they,
Right.
believe it or not, even Energica has no fault at CCS charging. It's a big struggle any company has facing towards, and I hope Livewire will fix that as soon as possible. It's just software. It's not, yeah,
Right. It's not the
different.
bike's issue.
Exactly. You have different manufacturers. You have bicycle manufacturers and charging or whatever charging manufacturers, charging station manufacturers, and they must work better together. You see it by with Tesla. With Tesla, they produce charging infrastructure and cars, no problem at all. It's the all-in-one solution. When you have different
Right.
companies, it can have some issues, and that's the current state with Livewire, which it's sad for such an amazing bike. If I would want to buy a Livewire right now, I wouldn't buy until it's solved, until I have, yeah. But as you say, every bike with the CCS is ready to go for a long distance. Definitely, definitely. Even also the
Right.
Livewire,
Right.
as soon it works, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Um, One thing to note is that with the live wire and the bigger battery Energica, you're going to have a little bit of a longer charge time, but that's just because you have like longer range. Whereas with the little 13.4 bike, it charges up so fast, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the wheels wrote in the comments about this rapid gating. Of course, because of some issues we talked about, Energica decided to give some safety margin on the software. This for us as customers, it's not that cool because it's
Right.
charged with 23 kilowatt so far instead of 25 or 26 before. But
And
you
I think
want, yeah.
that's I think that's something that'll change with time. Like, for example, just to take an example, Tesla, like, their cars, when they first came out, the specs actually weren't that amazing. But over time, what they were able to do is advance those margins of safety, like with, gathering data and stuff. And they were able to, slowly take up the charging rate or slowly take up the range. So that's one thing I think Energica could also do as well. So it's just something to consider.
Absolutely.
So let's see. Brett K had a question. So while out for a longer ride, you have to charge a few times. Do you charge to 100% or cut it off sooner?
Yeah.
So this is actually a really good question.
Yeah.
It for me, I think it depends. So for a paid station, I usually go with what's fastest, and that would be typically cutting it off at. For me, I found the cutoff speed right around like 85% for my bike. It would cut down to about, I want to say, like 15 kilowatts instead of 20 kilowatts. So if you're paying by like minute, then I think you should probably cut it around like 85%, at least for my model. And but if the charger's free, I almost always charge up to 100% just because you save money, and really it's you don't have to wait that much longer
Yeah. Absolutely.
to get up to 100%.
It depends also on environment. If it's a hot day, or it's autumn or spring, which the temperature a little bit lower, or yeah, wherever you live, the temperature is different. So temperature has
Right.
definitely a huge impact on range and also charging speeds. If you go on a highway, crank the throttle like a maniac, and then you go fast charging, you will see 80 to 90% the charging speed comes will slow a little bit down, but
Right.
under perfect circumstance it should charge above 90% full speed. 90, 95, 96, 97 I had also already under perfect
Yeah.
conditions. It's possible, but don't expect that anytime. Yeah. But
So the
you
one
charge it up to 80% and then you go, or 80 to 90, and then you go again, hit the roads.
right.
Yeah.
So one thing I found is that charging speed wise, this is at least on DC. I found that around 85% it cuts down to about right around like 15 like kilowatts, and it pretty much charges that for the rest of the time up to about 95%. And 95% it like slows down to about, I want to say, like 6 or 7 kilowatts. And then for the last 2%, I found that it kind of like trickle charges just to balance. So to get up to 100% actually would take a while. Sometimes, like if I'm in a hurry and the charger's free, I'll just cut it off at 98% and I'll be good.
Yeah.
And you'll still have pretty much full range. It's just the cells won't be, or you didn't like take the time to balance the cells.
So it's nothing which makes you panicking, or yeah,
No, yeah,
you go,
I definitely agree.
yeah, you do your trip as planned, and enjoy it. It's not, you always have to think about charge and when you go when planning and stuff. No, easy way. Go wherever you want, enjoy the trip and plug it in, do anything else, come back, go on.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah, no,
it's full,
I
sometimes not. Go again. It's so
yeah.
simple.
One thing to note, especially like if you're going on like a long trip, especially I think this more the case in the US than over in the other parts of the world. But some trips you are going to have to charge up to like that 98% point just to make it to another charger because the charging network's still a um, little dispersed in some parts of America.
Yeah.
But around where I'm at in Maryland, it's pretty good just because we're like one of the leaders in the EV industry, so it's really nice.
Sure.
But
I thought
some other,
I thought it's California.
yeah, no, California is definitely better than we are, but I won't say we're bad. I think we're not
Okay. No,
like
no fight here.
if you go if you go down around like Baltimore and like the DC area, there's fast chargers everywhere. I
Ah, yeah.
mean, it's crazy,
You have to watch out not to run into one. So boing, have an accident with the
right?
charger.
Yeah, yeah, they're that common down there. Like you couldn't go like 2 or 3 blocks without finding one.
Yeah. It's same as in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam is you will find at any corner. It's hard not to see one charging station. It's Amsterdam
Yeah.
is mecca of charging.
So really, one thing, yeah, to consider is definitely make sure you check your charging network and see what it's like. Some places are going to be better than others. Like for example, for me, Maryland's great. But if you go, I don't know, it's like Idaho, for example, the charging network's just not going to be as good yet.
Yeah,
And the keyword is yet. It's going to improve over time. It's just not there yet.
yeah. I just reading the next question from Brad. I think Brad, we will see Brad in the next 2021 with some electric motorcycle, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to. Oh, so he said, I've heard some say it's also better for the battery health, and was another part of why I asked. My current zero SR isn't liquid cooled, so maybe more of a concern for me
Yeah.
now.
So about the
Um,
temperature stuff, I also talked with Campiero about this. Think about having some cooling system on board is pretty smart.
mhm,
Yeah, I saw you got already one.
yeah.
The Zero SR. But yeah,
Mhm.
anyways, a cooling system is smart to have, but is additional weight. And Campiero
Yes.
also explained pretty precise. So they focus on make it lighter because
Hmm.
weight when you go over mountains or having making some altitude with the bike, weight definitely will kill battery or yeah consume battery more, and even with
Right.
less weight you have, and also for track purpose, a lighter motorcycle you can brake harder or shorter distance.
Right.
So with lower weight comes much benefits. That's the first aim they have.
Right.
When they would develop a cooling system would be nice, but would be additional weight. It's the same with the 6 kilowatt charger or bigger charge or AC chargers on board. They would have more additional weight, and this is the opposite for the direction. So yeah, that's maybe cooling system. I would like it, but I would not like to have a 300 kilogram motorcycle. So the current status
Right.
the motorcycle is, I'm absolutely happy with. But if there comes some additional stuff without adding some weight, that would be very nice. But first, I think the aim also for Zero or any other motorcycle manufacturer is have a low weight. If you compare, for example, the Alta or the Suron versus the KTM EXC,
Oh yeah.
um,
Right.
Alta is pretty heavy, and the others are well, lightweight, but they have a way smaller battery, all 60
Hmm.
percent of the capacity compared to all the motors. And
Right.
for dirt track, it's very important having a lightweight motorcycle. But
Hmm.
you also have to finish the race, you know. Yeah,
Right. That's very important. How I look at it is I see it as like a balancing game. So they're trying to balance, you know, the specs. So like you're gonna get better specs with more weight because you can have like a bigger battery, you can have a faster charger, and all this other stuff.
yeah,
But at the same time, you also have to keep the bike usable. Like you don't want to be riding around on an 800-pound Energica that charges in 10 seconds.
absolutely, absolutely. It's
It's-
I think it's about when you engineering some motorcycles in general, it's the balance between performance and convenience and everything which comes to account. So
right.
eh, I say the Energica or Zero motorcycles are very well balanced. They targeting a
Hmm.
different breadth of riders, but
Right.
how they made are pretty good balanced, definitely.
Yeah.
Of the most people have range and anxiety and wait for this super battery which can go 1,000 miles, whatever.
Yeah.
I tell you, the current state is absolutely ready to go.
Yes.
It's
I
not a
totally agree.
limitation. It's not a limitation. Any improvements would be appreciated, of course. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Um, one thing that one thing that I saw that was a really good point that I didn't even think about. I don't know if you all know the channel Smitification. He has a zero SRF, and he brought up this really good point that when or by by sitting here and like not buying into the industry, the problem is then the manufacturers can't improve their stuff to make it better. So you have to pay up front to get that improvement, so then they can have that like good bike that you want. It doesn't just magically go poof. So by like buying in on like Energica and Zero now, that gives that gives them money to keep improving their product and making it a bike that you really like.
Yeah.
And also, one thing to consider now is that the bike, or pretty much all the bikes on the market at this point, are to the point where they are just as usable as a gas bike, which was unheard of 5 years ago.
Mm.
So that's one thing to consider. Like, it's rapidly improving.
Yeah. I think I think this is not only about the bike. When to convince customers to buy electric motorcycles, not only about the bike. Um, I even mostly felt the vehicles or cars or motorcycles are they're ready to go, but on some parts of the world there is no charging infrastructure. Come on, man, this is you're looking for a bike and then you fell in love with, but then you think, where to charge? That's actually
Right.
an issue in some parts of our world, definitely.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
most
hope
certainly.
this must improve and will improve.
Yeah.
Maybe watch your neighborhood. Watch your neighborhood. Pop, 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 pop. Charging stations will come up soon. Pretty much of them.
Also, one thing you can do is like, like write a letter to your like congressman or senator. I don't know how your government works over there, but like
Yeah,
over here, you can write like a letter to them and say like, hey, I'm interested in like electrics, but the charging network around here like needs help. Like, you
yeah,
know, try try to like get the ball rolling on electric charging. One way I did this actually, the college that I go to, they have no charging there at all. They don't even have like a wall plug
yeah.
to use really. So I just messaged them and just asked them like, hey, is this possible? And they messaged me back and said they called up BGE and bam, they're on their way to making charging a thing. So
Cool, cool.
you know sometimes it's just a matter of asking and reaching out to improve your charging network.
Yeah. Here in Switzerland, we have some councils or Gemeinde, which is responsible for that in your area. So my strategy was pretty cool. Uh, they have some yeah, they give some bonus, or you can get money back when you buy an electric. And I said,
Hmm.
I was going there and talking to them and say, hey, I would like to get that bonus, get money back for when I buy an electric, but where can I charge it?
Right.
And that's what I hit them. And they got it. They got it. And
Hmm.
right now they have a level two charger here. I used it sometimes, and it's it's not much, but it's something, and it's if everyone do something, we can progress with this topic. So I
Right.
hope this day will come when you don't have to have in mind where to charge. It's not a limitation. Charging is not a limitation anymore. You have it in your garage, in your house, on the streets, everywhere.
Right.
Last week I saw some idea when some company they do some project, they planning to do or testing how the demand is on the
Hmm.
light poles, if I pronounce it right, for on the streets for the lights. There they have designed some chargers, level two chargers, which is pretty easy to install and pretty easy to use. And
Right.
this is a smart idea which leads to the right direction. I hope this project will be successful, and if not, whatever. But the main topic is having more charging stations. Yeah,
Hmm. Oh, that's awesome. What's the wheel said that if you own an EV and there's no AC charging for within 150 miles of your house, and the city will build one. That's awesome. I wish we were that good, but um, the charging network here luckily is good enough that I don't really have to worry about that. But that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So if people in your country start buying EVs, then lots of chargers will start popping up, and then it's only going to improve from there. Like when people get those AC chargers, then they're going to be like, oh well, now we want DC, so
Yeah, if I
it's only a
remember
matter of
right,
time.
if I remember right, he What's Tone to Wheels is from Germany, if I'm right, right? And in Germany, the politics they really push it forward, releasing some
Hmm.
laws which force malls and yeah landlords, they must install, under some circumstance they must install a charging station, and this is the right
Right,
step towards sustainable transporting,
I
and
agree.
which makes for us way easier, and we need more of those laws, yeah, definitely.
Hmm. Also, one thing to consider is that, like, over time, these batteries are going to start becoming easier to produce and cheaper to produce. So, not only on top of is the charging network going to improve, the cost of the bikes is eventually going to improve.
Absolutely, absolutely. um, Someday the prices will drop on some
Yeah.
level when it's just stupid to buy an internal combustion. You're kind a old fashioned guy, retro steampunk guy. Maybe you like old timer, then you buy an internal
Hmm.
combustion. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it looks like in the future at this point, gas bikes are going to be slowly transitioning towards becoming like a nostalgic thing that, oh, I want to go out on a ride on my old gas bike or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But when it comes to actually, finding like functional transportation that's, better, then,
Or
electric's going to
or
become
just
the new thing.
yeah, or just when you watch your wallet and think, hell, it's dumb not to buy electric because it's so dirt cheap, man. I must have it. And
Yeah.
as soon prices drop under some level, even now, I say if you buy an electric, Energica, whatever, zero motorcycles, it's a lot of money. But if you ride much miles, it pays out.
Yeah.
If you just only
Oh, yeah.
commute at weekends for your hobby, it's an expensive hobby. Um,
Yes.
yeah, but this is how it is current state right now. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
Whoopsie.
Um, Yeah, some cities ban ice. That is very true. I know California right now, over in the States, is actually trying to straight up ban new sales by like 2030 or something, like 2035. It's something like that. But yeah, once you see, like California starting to do this, I think like a lot of other states as well are going to hop on this bandwagon. And I suspect over in Europe, a lot of countries are going to do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just only a matter of time at this point.
Many people are, I guess, they are pretty annoyed of combustion and pollution and rattling and
Right.
daddling noises all around. Once they feel this benefit, or how the environment changes, which makes traffic and everything way more relaxed, I think then is the point they say, yeah, or this voice is getting louder, and push politics way harder to change, and then bam, it could be go very fast, everything. Yeah.
So, one quick thing I wanted to talk about, is I just wanted to talk about, the commutability of an electric compared to a gas. Because I know a lot of people are just going to be using their bike for a commuter. Not a lot, or not as many are going to be going on, those long trips and stuff. So for this is just for electrics in general, but I'm telling you, it's so much easier. Like, you know, with the gas bike, you have to like operate the clutch and gears and all this other stuff, and like worry about make sure you're in the right gear, or make sure you're in neutral, or when you're at a stoplight, you got to put it in neutral and all this other stuff. But with electrics, it's just so easy, and you
Absolutely.
most of the time with the regen on the bikes, you hardly ever have to hit the brakes.
Yeah,
So it's just like you just have to like twist the throttle, and that's about it. Like
yeah.
It's just so easy. And also, it's nice when you're sitting at a stoplight and you're just sitting there and it's just quiet. You get to like hear things around you and you aren't like smelling the exhaust on your bike. It's just, it's really nice. To me, it was kind of eye opening just to, sit at a stoplight and not have any, like, no noise,
Yeah.
no nothing.
When you ride in cities with your CBR, was it pretty hot? Was it very hot when you came to a stop or a stop and go sections?
I mean, it, I wouldn't say it's like extremely difficult. I just thought it was like tedious because when you go on like those long rides, especially if the weather's a little bit colder, you're going to be struggling with, your hands starting to get tired from operating the clutch so much. Like when you go on like those, 3 hour rides
Oh
or
yeah, yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah,
like your hand starts getting tired.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
Whereas with the EVs, you get to be a little lazy. And yeah, definitely the torque. Yeah, when you're at a stoplight, it's pretty fun. I promise. Doesn't matter what kind of electric you have. Stoplight torque is just awesome.
And what I do, what I really like to do is when it's late at night, you can go with electric. You can go. You can't crank the throttle going like a maniac when light changes from red to green. Just having fun
Right.
within the legal limits. But you can't do this with an
Of
internal
course.
combustion. You make so much noise, dude.
Oh yeah, most
They will
certainly.
hate you, or
Like with my
you get busted.
Yeah, and the thing is with the CBR, like you have to upgrade or like when you upgrade it, like when I put a Yoshimura exhaust on mine, and then at that point, the neighbors hate you. Like you get all this crap for your bike being so loud. Whereas with the Energica, I haven't had a single complaint.
Yeah,
And even though that bike has the reduction gears, and people say the reduction gears are loud or whatever, I have never had a single noise complaint with that bike, not
absolutely,
once.
absolutely. But the measurement, I have documents from some organization. They test motorcycle or cars or whatever vehicles in general because of noise, pollution, whatever, called TCS. And on the loudest peak they had was on the Energica about 85 or 86 decibel. This is
Yeah, that's
this
that's
is
not bad.
yeah, that is not super quiet, but it's not super loud. And if you commute around easy way, it's way sounder. It's yeah,
Hmm.
so no big
Yeah,
deal
I
about it.
know. I know my gas bike at times is probably over 100 decibels, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
Especially with the Yoshimura exhaust. Like if you put an exhaust on your bike, it's automatically going to be over 100 pretty much.
yeah, you can easily design the noise way louder, and this is what manufacturers do in the last couple of years. Um, which is so annoying for all people who they live right next to some street where people go all the time with sports car and sports bike, bah, 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 revving all the time, and
Right,
because of this hype, performance or convenience is not that important topic.
right,
Sound is way more important for a customer, which is very hilarious, but making the decision to buy a motorcycle if it's loud or have a good sound, this make people buying motorcycles, and this is the wrong behave from customers. I think. Do you want to buy a bike which get banned because of the noise? I mean, and
yeah.
and
That's
everyone will hate you because yeah, your neighborhood, here's your 6 in the morning, you go to work every morning and he wake up because of noise. Come on.
right. Yeah, yeah, definitely. If you live in like an apartment complex or something like that, gas bikes can be very annoying for people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, you definitely get like that kind of like people have their chip on that shoulder about you when you ride around at 6 a.m. in the morning or 8 a.m. whenever you have to like get up for work and ride around on some loud gas bike.
Yeah. So if you wanna cause more attraction for people or making strangers come to you and talk to you, you don't need to buy a loud bike. Even a silent electric will you will have way more interest from people. Way they give you while driving by, they give you a thumbs up. You see always when you go on the streets or some if you commute, if you coasting very slow, people getting you thumbs up. Hey, well, when they recognize it's electric and see it coming, and it's
Yeah.
you feel way more accepted. Yeah,
Yes, that is for sure.
but
I
when yeah,
know.
when you talk to your moto friends, they will tell you different stuff. Yeah, you have to buy a loud motorcycle, Ducati, man, Ducati Multistrada. But yeah, come on,
Yeah.
this is 2021. Come on, what's going on?
Honestly, one thing that I've been kind of surprised about, it's very interesting because, in America, I think a lot of people are very biased towards electrics, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be on a gas bike forever or whatever. And um, I've actually found that not to be the case for a lot of people that I've encountered with the bike. Like a lot of people that I found are just, curious and interested about electrics, and I definitely thought there would be a lot more, I guess, like, you know, skepticness about the bike, with electrics, because they're going to be like,
So,
oh, range anxiety, or oh, the battery's going to die after 50,000 miles or something like that.
hey, by the way, wait, I just changing the screen. I have something to tell you. I'm planning this video since a long time, and now we have this topic, which I really like it. Do you see what I bought here? Do you see what I bought? It is makes your bike look and sound like a real motorcycle, and inside you have some plastic exhaust you can add to bicycles for kids. Because think about if I add it to the Energica cruising around with an exhaust like this.
That's funny.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to
actually,
I want to do this video since a long time because it's so funny, but I never had the opportunity to.
yeah, I actually think Diego, who has a live wire, was thinking about doing the same thing.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
it should be an eye opener. People will have to understand. Ah, yeah, it's stupid. Okay, we got it.
yeah, I think with electrics, it's just so different. Like it's really hard to compare it to a gas bike just because there's so much difference. It's crazy.
So, which difference pops up in your mind at most when you think about difference from the
So
CBR?
one thing that's really nice that I always like didn't like about a gas bike, I know it sounds like kind of I guess I don't know, but like having to fill it up all the time is kind of annoying, honestly. Like now that you have an electric, like even when like my car is a gas car, and like now when I have to go or take the car or whatever and fill it up, I'm like, dang it, this stinks.
Yeah,
Especially if it, just having to like sit there and like waste time pumping gas or whatever. Whereas with the electric, I just unplug it and just hop on it and go. Like I don't have to fill up, and every time I get on the bike, it's at like 80 or 100% depending on what I put it at. So I just don't have to worry about anything. It's just so simple.
yeah. Every morning you go anywhere, you go to drive. It's fully charged. This is
Yeah,
definitely a cool aspect. For me,
and
as
this
as I
is
told you, I have so many miles on electrics. I never concern about these issues or benefits, but if you
hmm
change like you just a couple weeks ago, you will recognize those benefits pretty much because
hmm
yeah.
yeah. Another thing that I found that was really nice, is just how like especially my old or so I owned a few gas bikes before I had my CPR, and one of them was a ZX6 Kawasaki, and with the carburetors, it was like a pain in the butt to start sometimes. Whereas the
But
Energica, just click a button and it's on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's definitely,
I knew this.
and you don't have to, and you like don't have to sit there and wait for your bike to warm up or whatever. It's just, it's so convenient. So
It's.
convenient.
I remember some situation we was going for a bike trip with some friends, and yeah, of course I was the one and only who owned an electric. Then we go for a stop, drink something, then want to go right on, and you
Hmm.
know this noise, wiki kiki kiki wiki kiki kiki wiki kiki kiki wiki kiki kiki,
Yeah,
and I
I
was
know. Yeah.
I walk over and talk to him. Hey, guy, dude, can we go, or just if you need more time, I plug my bike back in so I can charge it fully.
Hmm.
Let me know when you're finished with starting up, man. It was so funny.
Yeah, and I also just wanted to state like I I look at electrics from a very like objective standpoint. Like I'm not saying like, you know, I hate gas bikes or whatever, but I look at this from a convenience aspect and like what's the best piece of transportation.
Yeah.
And I'm not like saying like, gas bikes stink or whatever, but um I just want to like show you that I've owned both, and this is like the differences, the goods and bads. I want to be like, straight up with you about it and show like what it's about.
Yeah.
Um,
If I think about finding some benefits from gas-driven bikes or gas-driven vehicles in general, it's hard to find the benefits.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's only honestly, compared to like electrics, there's a few benefits right now, and the thing is, those benefits will start to go away as time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, one thing I know a lot of people say is like, oh, you have to like sit there and let the thing charge for, 20 minutes or whatever, or I can go fill mine up in, 2 minutes. And, this may be true, but also you have to consider that stop, you can like, for example, you can go like normally on a gas bike, you go like grab lunch or something somewhere. You can just plug your electric in, and it's you don't even have to stop at that gas station now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different kind of thing. It's not like most of the time when you I go to a charger, I'm not sitting at the charger just sitting there going, "Yep, my bike's charging" or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever. Most of the most of the time I'm like doing something,
yeah.
and then when I come back, my bike's charged.
You're saving
It's
time.
not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fast fueling I think is a really big benefit, and for long distance riding, I think is the only other benefit that I can really think of for a gas bike. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you can go like really long distances faster, like you can go across the country faster than the electric could, but I think as time goes on, that's going to become further and further from the truth,
Yeah.
especially once they get like the charging speeds up and bigger batteries can become a thing. It's going to start to become obsolete, because the thing you have to consider that the gas bike industry has been around for like over 100 years, whereas electrics have, even though they tried to make them a thing like back in like the early 1900s, they couldn't get it to work right, and now that they're starting to actually research, get some R&D behind electrics, they're just going to get better from this point on. Like, it's not like, this is the best electrics can be.
Yeah.
So that's
So
definitely one thing to consider.
absolutely. Um, and what other difference or benefits did you recognize from changing, or how's the feel of the bike, or the sitting position, or anything else? Just
Oh yeah.
the way it feels.
Um,
Besides,
so two things I wanted to talk about. So for seating position on the Ego, it's definitely actually more aggressive than my F4i, which I was actually kind of surprised by when I rode the thing. Like my F4i, the pegs are definitely a little bit lower, but you know, it's still like across the tank sort of riding, which some people like, some people hate, but no matter. Seating position wise, it's actually a really comfortable seating position for somebody my height, and I'm 5'10, so that gives you like a general thing. Um, but I definitely say if you were a little bit taller, you could definitely ride. If you were a little bit shorter, you could also ride. But seating position wise, for a sport bike, I'd say it's really comfortable, but that's like for a sport bike. You know, if you get like the Eva or SS9, it'll be obviously a lot more comfortable and, you
Yeah,
know, but also, you know, one thing to consider is that, you know, um, the seating position on the Ego isn't meant to be, you know, it's not meant to be like a long distance riding bike, but you can the capabilities there. It's just, you know, it's a sport bike, and not many people take sport bikes on long trips like that.
yeah,
And another big thing that I like about the Energica compared to my CVR is my CVR. I would have to like, you know, take apart sometimes. Like my cam tensioner on my F4i was starting to fail, so I had to like take half of the bike apart to find it, and then you know, redo it. So it took my bike was pretty much held up for an entire day,
oh yeah,
and you know, I just feel like with electrics, you almost never have the bike apart. Like the only reason I've had my bike apart so far was just to add like heated gear to it. But past that, really, the bike is just worked.
yeah.
So
I
it's definitely really not good.
I need to take my bike apart because I had some kind accident a couple months ago. I never speak about in videos or something, but now it I start to repair those things, especially light didn't work proper. I
Hmm.
get I got a package from ePerformance here in Switzerland. Thank you, um, Brian, for this. I will mount it next this maybe today or maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, and make it work, make it back work. So yeah, the lightning was broken because some fairing was broken, and is if the contacts are not getting loose or yeah, so the how it's called, not balancer, the ballast overcharge and get destroyed. So I hope this will fix. But yeah, sometimes you take your bike apart. It's very not, yeah. It's not an everyday work you have to do. It's
Yeah.
once in some years. Yeah, if you fucked up.
Yeah. Right. But one thing also to consider about, you know, these electric bikes is I know a lot of people complain with the Energica, like they say like, oh, this bike weighs like, you know, 500,
Ah, yeah,
like I want to say it's like 500 and like 70 pounds. But one
absolutely.
thing to consider is also Energica has done a really good job, in my opinion, like trying to eliminate the weight first off, but also making the bike feel like a performance bike.
Yeah,
Like I would say like anytime under 10 miles an hour, you feel that extra weight. But honestly, when you're over like 10 miles an hour, which is about most of the riding you're gonna do, it feels really light. Like they did a really good job at making that weight just like kind of melt away from the bike. Like you can feel it's slightly heavier than a CBR when you're just riding it around town, but it's not it's not like it's not it's not like you like a Harley. It doesn't feel like a Harley heavy or something like that.
yeah,
You know, it doesn't feel sluggish in any way. It feels very precise and like responsive.
yeah. But if you compare it to Harley, it's a good comparison because Harley does a lot very heavyweight motorcycles, but
Right.
a half a ton they weigh, but it's still very easy to handle. This is what
Hmm.
I figured out when I drove the live wire and other Harleys. One thing they can do pretty good is really make heavy bikes easy to handle. This is a
Yeah.
big benefit. And Energica did something similar. Besides the high weight,
Hmm.
it's not a real pain to ride with. You feel it as soon you're going faster. You feel about above 60 miles per hour. You feel how it changes from the entire spirit, or you feel this bike is made to going fast.
Right.
If you lean into turns, if you brake hard, you feel this. This is their natural environment. It's not made to sneak around. This is what you told. It feels different when you just go very slow, and when you're catching up
Mm.
some speed. So yeah,
Yeah. So one thing to consider, I definitely know, like I'm a pretty like guy, I probably only weigh like about 130 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilograms, but anywho, you know, 130 pounds, I'm not a very heavy guy. I'm a pretty like skinny guy and I can handle an ego no problem. I've never had an issue with it being,
yeah,
like overwhelmingly heavy or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, also a good thing that Watch to the Wheels mentions that the parking mode is really helpful for, under 10 miles an hour when the
yeah,
thing feels a little on the heavier side. Like, especially having reverse is super duper helpful on that bike, in my opinion. Like, that's one thing I wish my CBR had was reverse, but it
absolutely.
just, I guess they don't consider it important, but I find it really nice that Energica has that reverse there. So
The
I don't have
reverse,
to like
yeah,
back it up with my feet. It's
the
just
the reverse
annoying.
alone is so.
Oh yeah, it's really
Think
nice.
about that was what Energica was made from the beginning. They told they designed it as a motorcycle from the scratch, new everything new, and this is what no manufacturer comes to mind because it's very heavy to solve from the technical aspect.
Hmm.
To adding some reverse gear, I mean, think about it. And this is
Right.
so. This is just the money worth having those reverse. I think this is cool. And as you
It's
said,
super
yeah,
nice.
in some situation
Yeah, like
when you're on a little just not a little hill, a little bit altitude, and you want to go backward, it's with if you go have to go off the bike and push it back, and it's sometimes it's hard or even barely not yeah
impossible, right?
almost impossible, yeah. So with the Energica,
Right.
back kick it in, I go backwards. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And also another thing is, that they limit the parking mode and it doesn't I know some people are like, well, if you're in the parking mode, doesn't it have like a lot of, like a lot of torque, so if you snap it too hard, it's gonna like do something. But
Yeah, that would be fun.
this this is not really real true at all. They did a good job like limiting the torque and limiting the power. So I think you can only go like 2 or 3 miles an hour in like reverse or parking mode. So that's not an issue either.
Yeah, but this is also very good topic. How when you compare the throttle response on the Energica to any other gas bike, how what comes up in your mind, or how you can compare it?
So on my CBR, it was actually I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty good throttle, but it was still cable. And because it was fuel injected, it was like, like pretty responsive for a gas bike. It really was. Like, you hit it and you can like feel it within like a few milliseconds, like get on, which is pretty good. But the Energica just is so precise. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you all know, but Energica uses like a potentiometer for their throttle, and it's just so precise. Like you can twist the throttle like so little, and you can feel it change. Whereas with the gas bike, it takes like that few milliseconds to really like get in the proper state where your throttle's at. But with the Energica, it's just one and done. It's just so quick to respond.
Yeah, it's direct. It's live. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it really
you have no
is.
delay. Mm.
Yeah,
Some
there's zero delay on an
yeah.
allergic.
Sometimes it's very good if you have power straight out or straight now to stabilize the bike. Once the bike gets destabilized, you can save it when accelerating because
Hmm.
then it stabilizes by
Hmm.
itself. And yeah, a half second or a quarter second is also regards to safety aspects. You can save the bike even easier when you go, yeah, ride a little bit sportier. Yeah, would say
Hmm.
like this.
All right, so one thing Watch the Wheel said about his time almost crashing. Yeah, I accidentally did almost do that once, and yeah, I was able to save it too. But yeah, it's just something you gotta watch for, really. Just make sure you like know what mode you're in, and also
Yeah.
like if you're in parking mode, make sure you're actually in parking mode, not that you crank the throttle and realize
Whoopsie.
you're in
Yeah.
sport mode, like he did.
Yeah.
Whoopsie, it happens.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that one, man.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You have yeah a little bit awareness. You have pay attention which mode you're in, or is it
mhm,
active or not?
right, yeah, that's definitely something you have to
Yeah.
consider.
For
But
fr- I just drove by some friends and we had a chat for a few seconds and s- meanwhile he asked me, yeah, but now it's the bike on or is it off? And then, oh yeah, it's still on. It's it's very pretty weird for strangers or people who never saw or seen or get in contact with an electric because they don't know is it running or not, or it's pretty strange for them.
yeah, and that's the same thing with the Zero. Like the first electric bike I drove was a SRF before I drove the Ego. And when I first got on, I was like, man, this is so weird. Is this thing on?
Yeah,
And I hit the throttle. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
yeah. So first was the Zero. Which one was it you tried first at the dealership?
So I went to Cyclemax in Gaithersburg, and they had a SRF. They had the SRS that just came out at the time,
Oh yeah,
and also they had one old. It was a 2018 certified pre-owned Ego there as well to test drive, and I test drove all three. So it was a really interesting experience.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I wish I got more time on the Zeros just to like test drive them like around town and like test the charging and all, but I just went for like a kind of a shorter test drive, and I test drove all three, and it was very interesting to just see like the difference between an electric and a gas bike and firsthand experience.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of he told me to like just get on it and go. So it was I wasn't exactly I kind of knew what to expect just because I did a lot of research beforehand, but I was not expecting what happened.
Okay. You mean because of the acceleration or what exactly?
Yeah, yeah, just the acceleration, the feel on the Energica with the build quality, just a lot of things about the bike was really shocking to me.
What was
Like
shocking?
I was like shocked, just to walk in. I walked into the showroom and I just walked, like, saw that Energica and just looked around at it. And I'm like, wow, this thing is. It's amazing to me that such a small company made a bike that has, the same or better quality than a Honda CBR because Honda's, like a multi-billion-dollar company. And it's crazy that a electric bike like that can keep up on quality with such a big manufacturer.
Absolutely, absolutely. You nailed it. In some way, it is that's which comes from some CRP. They do a lot of prototyping, and this company behind is they're super flexible if they have to adapt to changing something what else on the motorcycle they can do these changes pretty fast, improve the quality or fails whatever. And this is
Hmm.
this is one of the strong parts of Energica or CRP, because a big company with which they have to set up the production stuff, if they want to change something, just simple small things, it's very
Yeah.
very difficult to do. And especially today, if you're planning some motorcycle stuff and you find out people don't buy it, or you have some issues with that, it's pretty hard to
Hmm.
change. And this is on the core of Energica, what they have. They are ahead when it comes to adapting or changing stuff on the bike. You will see
Hmm.
some minor changes from between every model, which is not from the same month production or something. Sometimes you will see um, small changes they did. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, if you're watching under the hood, just to improve quality or stuff. And yeah, what you talked about is the fairings are pretty much, or all everything is carbon fiber and
Right.
3D printed parts and CNC
Yeah, just
mechanized
the
parts. It's
yeah, just when you like walk up to the bike and see it, you just see a difference. Like
yeah,
the Honda, the paint just doesn't look as good, Um, well, like just like frame wise, the Energica just looks so complete. Whereas like, it makes the Honda look like it was kind of, rushed, which obviously, they're more built for mass production, so you kind of, it's definitely a difference between the companies. Is Energica is trying to build like a really high quality product.
yeah, yeah. So what's it wheels wrote, he agreed, but the deficiency or whatever is in the software.
Right.
Maybe he was not watching our stream where we talked about Livewire and the charging issue, which
Hmm.
I meanwhile I knew a little bit about these charging issues, and it's pretty annoying. Every company have to fight with that CSS protocol bullshit,
Right.
and
Yes.
and overall I can say Energica did a very great job facing those issues. Meanwhile,
Hmm.
believe it or not, Harley Davidson is not a small company, and they take this approach to go in electric pretty serious. And even they couldn't
Yeah.
make it proper working. The CCS doesn't work on the live wire. It's a pain in the ass right now. And
Hmm.
of course, there are some
I'm gonna go.
issues which must be solved. Definitely, definitely. Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my charger for my laptop.
Okay. You charge and need battery. So meanwhile, let me change to some comments here. People write me in on YouTube. Let me change here first. Yeah. So some people write me comments and I can't answer these.
There we go. All right, we're back.
Yep, yep. I was going through some comments people sending me, and I never can answer this. Didn't know. It's pretty sad. Yeah, no, this is why I'm doing this live stream, just to answer questions. Um,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
remember someone sent me questions about the CCS charging issues. Maybe I don't know if you do if you did you had this on some charging stations. You plug it in and it doesn't start. You try it
Hmm.
again, try it again, try it again, and sometimes because of magic, nobody knows, it starts to work. This is a common issue I have since the beginning with the Energica, and I don't know if it's the real reason or stuff. What I knew is the CSRS protocol is pretty. It's stupid. Every engineer hate it because imagine there are some certifications. One is DIN, and the other is some other certification which suits makes the standards. And on some
Right.
standard, they you're doing a CCS protocol. A logical thinking person
Hmm.
would do once one standard, but the CSS
Hmm.
has two standards, which which
Right.
which which causes problem while starting the charge, because the charging
Mm.
station asking which motorcycle are you, the motorcycle asking I'm this kind of vehicle, and the charging station didn't accept it because it's not the standard, it's the other standard. So
Right.
this is so far I know this is the issue, because the standards which are different, and which is so annoying for engineers to make it work, which when you deal with different standards. Yeah,
Hmm.
but this is a common problem. You have to start over and over and over and over again, and sometimes you get annoyed. I change the charging station, and the next one it works proper. Sometimes you have to try it 4, 5, 6 times, and then it works. But at most
Hmm.
95% of charging stations it works without any trouble. Yeah, but
Right.
it can happen sometimes. Just yeah, was a question.
Um, all right. So yeah, I definitely totally agree with you there. What's the wheels about the app? I'm not very impressed with the app yet.
Oh, the
I hope
application.
this
Yeah,
is one thing. I hope this is one thing that they take to heart and kind of try to work on and make it a little bit better.
yeah,
Like I think I looked at like Zero's app, and Zero's app I thought was pretty good, although I know they've been having some bugs and issues with it. Like prior to the bugs and issues that they had with it, it was actually pretty good. You know, like it, you were able to do like everything you could on the Energica app, and there were quite a few more things you could look at. And also one thing that I definitely think Energica should work on is that navigation to charging stations thing.
yeah,
So then you can like, you know, when you're driving by, you can say like, oh, there's a charging station, you know, 2 miles away or something like that. That would be something that would be really nice to have on the Energica.
yeah. It would be very
Um,
nice. But when I think about the cost for developing some software, it's pretty high. And
yeah, it is,
me by
and it's
myself, me by myself, I never, or I just checked out the app, but I never used it. I use Google
mhm,
Maps to drive around, to have directions on my headphones, and I can watch
mhm.
to where I go. I don't know if people really actively would use this application, because I never used it. But if you have a proper, really good working software, I mean, for example, on the dashboard, the navigation system which leads you to the next charging station, that would be pretty nice. And I know Energica
Mhm.
works on something like this. This could be the reason. I just guessing. This could be the reason why they're not updating the current software or the current application,
Mm.
because of Corona and
Yeah,
stuff. They planned to make something new in 2020 or 2021, but it could be delayed even more because of Corona restrictions. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think the good thing about Energica, at least, is they have like the main product stamped out at this point, and it's really good. It's
yeah,
just the fine tuning that they need to make the bike, I guess, a lot like the perfect bike, I guess.
yeah.
Um,
But when you
yeah,
if for
definitely.
example when you're sitting in your you go for lunch or something, when meanwhile the bike is charging, and you want to watch on your app how's this state of charge, this doesn't work, and okay, I
Yeah.
agree, this would be a huge benefit, which this would be pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah,
Even even though that I know some of the stations that you plug in at, they'll like send you an email or a text when it's done or something like that.
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
much rather have, you know, my app telling me, oh, hey, the bike's at like 80%. And now, like, if let's say I'm taking a break or something, then I know I can, oh, walk out and go like take the bike, not like wait and go, oh, the thing's charged up to 100% or something.
This is
Especially if it's like an expensive station or something like that, you know.
yeah. Oh yeah, of
You want
course.
to be there for you want to be there for as little time as possible. And with that app connectivity, then you'd be able to go, oh, hey, my bike's at 80%. I need to go.
This is the way I do it. I set the state of charge to whatever I want, whenever I need, and then I keep it plugged in, do something else, and then I get a message on my mobile phone when the charge, the motorcycle interrupt the charge at a certain point of state of charge, and I get the
Hmm.
message, and I knew, oh, now it's fully charged, but not
Right.
every payment or charging solution send you a text message or something. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, some it seems like the DC stations are pretty good about it. It's just some of the level twos that I've been to aren't
Oh
good
yeah,
about it at all. Like ChargePoint, I found to be really good about it, but some other companies I've used are just not good at it at all. Like the some I've like some of them are very hit and miss when it comes to that. Um, Alrighty, so Watts the Wheel said regarding CCS, some stations
yeah,
don't read out the motor on and off correctly. Sometimes you need to turn the bike on and charging works.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually myself have had one charging issue since I own the bike, and the only the reason it was an issue was not because of the bike; it was because of the charging station. So the problem was that the charging station wouldn't even like it wasn't able to like find my bike for some reason. I don't know why it was, but luckily there was a second charger or a second charging station there, so I was able to plug into the other one and it worked just fine. So that wasn't a bike issue, that was the charging station issue, and that's something that I think they fixed now.
Mm. Can happen sometimes.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I think most of the charging issues on the bike you're gonna find are gonna be either your fault because you did something wrong, or it's gonna be the charging stations error, not the bike.
yeah, yeah. Mostly, this communication between bike and charging station, which causes
Right.
some abort or whatever. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've seen that with the Livewire as well. I've seen
yeah.
they've had some issues with that. I don't know, maybe it's like since it's a bike, it's a little, I guess maybe it's a little different to put it up onto or to get it to charge like that. Maybe the communication system's different. I don't know on that one.
Yeah. So we as a customer just want to have easy way to charge. I mean, the struggle is up to the manufacturers, and they knew that this is one of the major topics they have to solve. Make it
Right.
work, those charging issues, by the way. But
Mm-hmm.
it is not such a huge pain. I would say I never ride it or whatever. I in summer or during the season I use it every day. I go every day on with my bike. It's just even more a
Mm-hmm.
side topic. It's not that super worst. And yeah,
Right.
there are also maybe there's some Harley riders, Harley Livewire riders from the US. They have figured out how to deal with those issues. They are happy customers. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe for the people who watch this live stream or the video afterwards, it's not like it's such a huge topic which makes it impossible. It's just a little thing you have to deal with.
Right.
It's imagine first
And
you buy an internal combustion vehicle and never knew about. You go to the not charging station, the gas station, and you see different kind of fuels, and you don't know which you should use because never told you somebody. It's kind of same thing. You
mm-hmm.
have to figure out certain things, which now it's so obvious. Yeah, you need the green one or the blue one, whatever. It's the same with
Yeah.
electrics. It's just you have to know how to deal.
Mm-hmm. One thing I wanted to bring up, I know this is more of a problem over in Europe, but one thing that the Energica really helps you save on is fuel. And just money wise on when it comes to fuel. I know over like in Germany and stuff, like the gasoline's kind of expensive compared to the US.
Yeah, very, very.
And Yeah, I think it's like six or I don't know off the top of my head.
It's a
But
rip-off. Tell you, it's an absolutely rip-off.
yeah, and the thing is, like with America, it's only going to be a matter of time before that becomes a problem as well. It just hasn't got there yet.
Yeah,
And you know, especially once America starts converting itself to electric, even though it's a little slower than some other countries, that's just going to drive up the price of gas because it's just going to become not worth it to produce gas when so many people are switching.
absolutely. Oh yeah,
And
even less people use gas.
but
Even yeah, it influences the price.
but back to the the money it takes to pay for gas. Even though in the U.S. it's kind of on the cheaper side to fill up your bike, like I can fill up my bike over here for probably like a 2.5 gallon tank would probably be about I'd say $10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, electrics cost just as much to fuel or whatever, but this is just not really true. So on like a really expensive station, like probably the most expensive one I could go to, I'd say to fill up the Energica from like 0 to 100 would probably be about $6 here, like $6 to $7 probably in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, most places that I've been to charge by the kilowatt, which is really nice. Hope it stays that way. But even the places that charge by the minute or whatever, even them are still you're only going to pay about $7 to fill up the bike. But some of those places that are charged by the kilowatt to charge
Mm-hmm.
my bike is only like $2 or $3. And then also you have to consider that there's quite a few free charging stations, especially the level twos in America are a lot of them tend to be free. It's usually the DCs that cost money.
The
But
fun part, the fun part is when you go to electric and do your first charges, you will find out there are charger you can pay from absolutely overpriced to free charging stations, and this is it's
yeah,
kind of jungle. It's kind of jungle. I don't know. On gas stations, prices are such a huge sign which much it costs. You see it from the horizon, miles
hmm
ahead. Oh no, go left, go right. This is too expensive. But when it comes to
right,
electric, it's kind of surprise always. You plug it in and you see months later on your bill if you get ripped off or
right.
not. And this is not this state is not acceptable. I This is a real pain. I mean, what the
hmm
heck? You plug it in and you don't know the price.
right.
This is not acceptable.
Um, Especially one thing to consider is if you charge your bike at home a lot, like if you just commute on it and don't really go on much of the way of trips, you're definitely going to save a lot of money there.
Absolutely.
Like to charge, I think I contacted my company about it, and I talked to them about like how much do you charge per kilowatt and stuff like that. And to charge my bike through them, I want to say it was like $1 to
Yeah.
go from 0 to 100 is $1.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's definitely significantly cheaper no matter how you look at it. Even if I charged at the most expensive stations possible all the time and didn't charge, or even if I didn't charge it at home and just use the most expensive stations possible, it's still cheaper. And it's the same with cars too. That's not just bikes.
Yeah. So what's to the wheels wrote about the costs? It's pretty. This is true. Um, the maintenance on internal combustions alone is more expensive than the entire electricity
hmm
maintenance tires on an electric. It's just so simple. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing to consider is, especially if you're a person who like doesn't work on your bike, you bring it into the dealer and get it serviced sort of person. Electrics are really good for that. Like with gas bikes, you had to like bring it in to get the oil changed or check the valve timing and stuff like that. Um,
Mm.
but with electrics, you just gotta bring it in well, at least for the Energica, it's every like 6,000 miles. You just gotta bring it in and just have it in there for an hour or two really, because all you gotta do is just change the oil, just check chain and stuff like that. It's really simple stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're on the road for 6,000 more miles. You just don't need to touch the bike pretty much,
Yeah.
minus lube the chain. Lube the chain's all you need to do.
Maybe chain maintenance you have to do by yourself, but you don't must do it. But the chain lives longer. The chain drive, the gears live longer if you do the
Right.
maintenance. But
But the thing
anything
that
else,
I've
it's pretty simple. Yeah.
yeah, the thing that I found with gas bikes is even though I do my own maintenance because I used to be an auto technician, you know, the thing, even for me, it wasn't about the money, it was about the time. Like I would have to take, half a day off to go, adjust the cam or get to the cam tensioner, pull it off and put a new cam tensioner in the thing and then slap the bike all back together.
Yeah.
That's half a day of my time that I could be spent riding on the ego.
More riding, less
So
maintenance. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely for me personally, it wasn't about the money because, I did my own maintenance, so it didn't cost me that much. But just the time that I saved was really nice.
Hmm.
Like just not having to take half of my day and tear my bike apart. And instead, I could go for a nice ride and not have to worry about it.
Absolutely. You can spend this time to charging. Whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever. So next question is what would you propose to Energica? Blah blah blah. About the smaller vehicles. Yeah, a good question. Maybe I don't know if this question is in the interview with Campiero Testoni, but I asked him definitely about this. Why or if they want to go to the cheaper market, and it's definitely no. They want to keep to high performance motorcycles. They want to produce the top notch, the fastest electric motorcycles on the planet, or at least
Hmm.
be one of them in the future. And
Right.
I saw news besides Energica, there is CRP, which they do developments in many fields. And what I
Hmm.
saw, what they released officially, is some kind of drivetrain or and with controller which you can buy to build scooters and stuff. So we will see probably Energica technology in different brands in the future, but by themselves,
Hmm.
their own brand, Energica, produces just the fastest electric bikes. They don't, of course, in the future will get cheaper. I can imagine in 10 years the bike costs the half price. That would be absolutely
Right.
realistic. But I mean, those cheap segment you talk about, it's kind, yeah, scooter or a small motorcycle thing, which is affordable for for teenies or stuff. We won't see Energica in this field. But technology from them definitely. When it comes to battery technology, drivetrain stuff, Energica is develops currently stuff for these application fields. That's what I knew so far.
Hmm. Also, one other thing to consider about that, um, Harley, and then I
Oh
believe
yeah,
today's the 10th. On the 19th, they're revealing a new bike, so I don't know what it's going to be. It might be what you're looking for, honestly. So,
yeah,
it might be an electric motorcycle that has, that small, or it's like the more budget option to the live wire.
yeah,
So I don't know on that one yet about Harley, but you know, there like there's also you have to consider, like Zero and all these, or there's a lot of other like small companies like Evoke I've heard of,
yeah,
and they make like those cheaper commuter bikes that you're looking for with the smaller range and like the slower charging.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think there is.
So
Yeah,
there's definitely there's a bike out there for you is what I'm trying to say.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's no need to at all cost to ride in Energica. It's there. I
Hmm.
think this. It's like with Tesla. Competitors can make it together, pushing forwards and make Tesla cannot produce a vehicle for any wish, and besides there is some auto manufacturer which does the kind of car or electric car you need or you want. So it's the same
Mm-hmm.
with Energica. If you want to go fast, if you want to have high performance, and price is not, it's not a topic for you, Energica will make you a happy customer. And in other segments, I mean, there is Suron, there is Harley. Like you told, Harley has a few vehicles in they're planning to release in next years. Yeah, definitely. I think in the next few years, everyone will find the bike he like. Or for a commuter, or also the
Mm-hmm.
Cake. Cake has two kind of motorcycles, electric motorcycles, small cycles. Just for commuting, this is I like it. I like it. Even the Suron or the Cake, I like those bikes very much. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't really exposed myself to, the other like minor companies, but the bikes that I have driven, um, they're going to get cheaper. Like for example, the older Egos and Evas and SS9s, they're starting to get really cheap now. So um, you might be able to even get high performance bikes for cheap, so you don't really have to compromise when it comes to performance.
absolutely. Yeah. So next topic, what's going on here? I hope this answer is yeah is okay for you.
Sufficient.
Yeah. By the way, we can make some advertise if yeah, if there is no questions anymore. Let me change screen. Maybe you saw if on Instagram those images I do with the cyberbike or cyberbike. I call it cyberbike, and
Mhm.
I never showed you something. Those images. The main idea is share my excitement, making awesome photography from my bike, and maybe
While he's pulling that up, lots of the wheels talked about. There is Japanese groups getting together and making electric bikes, and that is most certainly true. I know Kawasaki right now is trying to make an electric motorcycle. Their specs aren't really up to Energica yet, but they are trying. So I think once like Kawasaki and the big companies start like moving over towards electric, you'll start seeing the popularity of electric motorcycles skyrocket.
yeah. But
Especially
the thing is, those companies have facing towards a problem because their customer are pretty hardcore petrol heads, and
right.
the transfer to electric is pretty hard for them. If they come up with an electric motorcycle, it must be super convincing because it can really destroy those companies. And
Right.
others don't wait, like Energica or Zero Motorcycle. They don't wait. If there is demand is there, they can deliver. Yeah,
One story that I found really interesting. So, there were I was talking to Don at CycleMax, and he told me about this guy who, was a hardcore Harley rider. Absolutely did not like electrics at all.
yeah,
He was just he loved Harleys. And like Don told him, hey, I have this Zero here. Go test drive it.
yeah,
And he had to pretty much like sit him on the bike to get him to go because
yeah,
he
yeah.
was like
Try
so,
it.
yeah, he was just so apprehensive about it. And you know he tried it and he came back with like he was like smiling from ear to ear, like he was just like, wow, this is crazy. He just was like so shocked. And I think a lot of people who are like apt to try electrics really just what I say is don't hate electrics till you try it. Like if you try electrics and still hate it, then that's your opinion, but
Yeah,
don't hate it till you try it.
absolutely.
Um,
Because it makes you look a little bit dumb if you yeah.
yeah, definitely.
The the one
Definitely, I suggest taking. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, something I'm not quite sure what's going on is this what Tim Mugen does. I guess it's from Honda or from Yamaha, and then don't remember quite exactly, but they developed a super hardcore fast electric motorcycle, which it's hard competitor to Energica Ego Corsa. But
Hmm.
what they do with those plans? What they do? Come on! I guess it time is ready to release the bike. I mean, of
Yeah, we'll
course
have
they
to see.
cannot produce the same bike like they developed with these hardcore specifications for the streets, but
Hmm.
something similar. I mean, if you do this, you gain those experience you need to do develop a bike. Yeah,
Hmm. One thing also to consider, I read this article that said, Energica is going to be the sole supplier of Moto E till 2022.
yeah.
So that means after that, I think some companies will have a bike together that they can try racing. So I
Hopefully.
could definitely, yeah, no, I could definitely see, like Kawasaki, who's developing their bike right now, to try to get into this. And same with, like maybe even Harley. Harley might try getting into it, or Honda, or all these other companies trying to get into it. So I think there will, like, once the competition and the market starts rising, I think you'll see a lot of people like getting more curious about it and more interested in trying one.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, what many people don't know about Moto E is when you compare it to MotoGP, Moto 3, Moto 2, Moto whatever, MotoGP
Hmm.
is pretty expensive series. Companies investing
Yeah,
a lot of money or wasting a lot of money in this. And
yeah.
think about it, Energica is a super small company in compared to those huge brands. And they have a tenth of the budget and make such an amazing motorcycle, which is so fast.
Hmm.
And people complain about, yeah, but it's not that fast like like Rossi's bike and stuff. But think about, they have the tenth of the budget and can make it so far,
Right.
make produce such a good bike, and make a race series called Moto E out of this. It's like the Formula E in the beginning. It was not recognized. People laugh about it, and now it's,
Right.
come on. Formula One is sold out, man.
Yeah.
Nobody attention goes down year by year, and Formula E, there is no stop ahead. I mean, they go full speed.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think
Yeah,
as time goes on, electrics are going to become more popular, and once that happens, more people are going to get curious.
yeah, absolutely.
Also, to what's the wheels statement he said there about getting a Suzuki ride on an electric saddle, that is most certainly seemingly true. I'm not gonna like generalize and say like all Harley riders are like this, because I'm sure they aren't. But you know, definitely to for me, it was kind of like a switch to like it was like apples to apples, because I was switching from a sport bike to a sport bike.
Yeah,
So it wasn't really too much of a change, but some people are, yeah, very apprehensive about electrics, and they're scared of them, because I know like some people like get scared because oh, they catch fire and all these other things,
yeah.
you know
Those
but
myths. Yeah,
yeah, there's lots of myths about electrics, and
yeah.
a lot. One thing that I've found to be really true is some of the gas companies are really trying to like you know increase the skepticity
Definitely.
of the electrics, just so they make more money. So
It's
obviously
it's
they're
all
gonna
about
reject it as long as they can.
the money, and this is the,
Hmm.
yeah, the annoying thing of this game. Not everything which is better makes it yeah, popular for anybody. Some things are better
Hmm.
or too good to be real, and people doubting too much. And
Yeah,
if you tell how
and
awesome an electric motorcycle is, people won't believe you. They say, yeah, you're just a fan. You tell everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
um, yeah. I will say like I I look at this try I try to look at this from an unbiased perspective and show, you know, like if it's actually better. Like I'm not BSing you, you know.
yeah,
So yeah, I wouldn't tell you like a gas bike is like, worse or better. I wouldn't like, be like, oh, electrics are the best thing in the world. And just like tell you a lie, you know.
yeah. Absolutely. There, it's different. As I told you all the time, It's
Yeah.
different. But I have some special questions for you right now because I knew someone. He had a Triumph, some kind of Triumph, cruiser
Hmm.
motorcycle, and he switched to
Yeah.
Harley Davidson. He had the Livewire.
Hmm.
After a few months, he talked. We had a chat, and he said, "Yeah, I'm consider probably I will I will sell this bike." I thought I asked which bike. Yeah, the Triumph, of course. I never used it, so
Yeah.
how much? Yeah, how much possibility is there that you will sell your CBR sometimes? Is it possible or?
Yeah, I've actually been considering honestly because
See it?
I put it I put it away for the winter and like I just haven't pulled it out yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, because it's like such a hassle compared to, the electric. Like, I gotta like de-winterize the bike, I gotta get it started and all this other gooey. The electric, I just hop on and press the button and I'm done.
Electric dewinterizing on an electric is kind. Um,
Yeah.
pl- Unplug it, inflate the tires, and you're ready to go. It's just so easy, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's lit.
but you know
That's
this.
it.
But remember those days when you loved those CBR motorcycle? I guess yeah, someday you love this bike overall. You know?
Hmm. No, I definitely I love my CVR. Like it was such a nice bike for me. It like fit all my needs. It was really nice, but I was just so curious about electric. I had to try it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then when I tried it, I was hooked. So that's just how it is.
yeah.
But no, definitely try electric before you blow it off and say it's garbage. It's hot garbage. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think you'll be very surprised.
Definitely, definitely. Some shop here in Switzerland, they just accidentally or because of different reasons they tried an Energica Ego, um,
Hmm.
and it was so convinced. He run to the dealer or the importer here and say, "Hey, we wanted this. We want to be a dealer of Energica. Can we make a deal right now?" Because he was so. It's this shop is only about racing motorcycle and high performance motorcycle. It's not those
Right.
everyone bikes.
It's not like a commute. It's not commuter bike shop. Yeah.
Yeah, not commuter bike shop. Definitely. Yeah.
No, I
Hey,
totally get that.
something I want to show you before, maybe you're familiar with my shop, Lex Summer shop, lexsummer.shop, and this art pictures here. Did you ever saw these images on Instagram? I did with my motorcycle, or never recognized it.
Hmm.
Did you saw them or never? Let me show you.
I don't have Instagram, sadly.
I don't have Instagram. Maybe you never saw those images I did with the Energica.
I've seen a few,
I've
just like through YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah. Imagine, look, this is the how this is the photography on your computer screen. But let me show you the same image. It's awesome. I want to show you this because yeah, I want to make some advertise here now because share the excitement. This is the right image, the real image, and do you see? It's the same image. Do you see on the where this white parts here? It is reflecting. It's metallic reflecting, and
Hmm.
this image looks so awesome here in the camera. Meow. Yeah, maybe you see it. And
Yeah.
I just want to show you, I mean, for people when they want to support my channel or YouTubers and stuff and sharing the excitement for electric motorcycles, when you buy some image, you support my channel way, man. I would appreciate it pretty much. And those who did those images or produced them, 10% goes to some charity stuff. So it's you have strike two strikes with one. It's you support my channel and do something good. I just want to show you this by the way because I think it's a great opportunity. But don't want to get annoyed. Maybe there are some questions or yep. Yeah, here is some. Wait, let me change. One of your pictures. Video inside the factory. That makes motorcycles. One of my images inside a factory. Maybe if you know which manufacturer, let me know, because I never sold an image to some factory. Maybe they print it out by themselves. Who knows? But on the internet, the quality is pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can have these images. You can have the you can watch on the web shop. It's pretty big. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's super big.
But so one thing that I wanted to talk about. This is kind of a thing for Energica owners. I just wanted to say, like, one thing that's really important that I found out is make sure you check your tire pressure all the time and make sure, it's at 42. Because if it's not at 42 PSI, you will notice a difference. I think when I got mine, it was at I want to say 32 PSI each tire. And when I pumped it up to 40, or 42, the bike just felt so different.
It's like you're riding an absolutely different bike with different pressure. Just
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's people don't and it can be dangerous if you have the wrong pressure on the circumstance. But
Yeah.
the range is on a street tire. The range of pressure you can have, the range is pretty high, so you can ride it with very low pressure or super high pressure. But don't go with high pressure or too much pressure on wet roads, because
Right.
some people, when they ride electric, higher pressure, less resistance, more range, and they
Right.
going over the limits. And if the streets are getting wet, it's a death trap, believe it or not, especially with that much torque on the rear wheel. Just keep that in
Right.
mind. It's what you're saying is really important. Tire pressure is Moto E, MotoGP. They always talk about tire pressure because tire pressure is so important. Yeah,
Yeah. I
absolutely.
think the only scenario where I could say lower tire pressure is better is I'd say if you're drag racing the thing, probably having low tire pressure in the back tire is
Yeah,
really good for that.
yeah,
But that would only be but if you do that, you're going to lose so much range.
yeah, yeah. But for drag racing, you need special tires if they are available, which having flexibility, and there are kind of balloons, on drag races. When they start, the tire compress, getting smaller, have a lot grip, and while they catching up speed, the tire gets blown up. It's blown up, have a bigger radius, and so you can have lower RPMs, higher speeds, and at higher speeds you don't need the full traction, so the tire
Right.
blows up. And
Yeah. Definitely, I was hoping next year I would be able to, or sometime, well, not next year, this year. I keep reading it's 2021, but definitely sometime this year I hope to take mine to the drag race and compare it, because I know I forget who did it, but somebody took their Ego Plus to the drag strip and raced it. And I was gonna see if I could try to beat his time.
I'm waiting for this crazy guy who goes with the Energica Ego Corsa to the drag. I mean, maybe you don't know, the Ego Corsa, boom, has no limits. You can adjust.
Right.
You can adjust the ECU way beyond your imagination, and you will
Right.
have definitely different numbers on the drag race. Maybe I will see some crazy guy who do this. I don't know. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Energica is a good balanced bike. It's not only drag propose. It's even more for race circuits, where
Right.
where acceleration is not everything. Yeah,
Hmm. And even, the EVA and SS9 are still, I'd say, pretty competitive in their in like racing. The only thing is like they're kind of limited on top speed, so on like a longer track, you may run into some issues of just topping out.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
So,
can I leave you alone for a few minutes with the chat? I have to go to the toilet. Pretty important. I will be right back in a few seconds. Is that okay?
yeah, you're good.
So
But
you're the owner of my chat right now. I will be right back.
all right, that sounds good. Definitely, one thing I wanted to talk about is just to like, I just wanted to talk about like why I got into electrics some, just to touch base on it. So back when I was like working, I was working as an auto tech, and I got to test drive it was like one of the old Nissan Leafs. It was, I think, like a 20 like 11 maybe. And just it was just it was like when it came to like range and charging and stuff, it was absolutely terrible. But just like the power that that little car had really kind of surprised me. So that's kind of what got me into it. But yeah, definitely electrics have developed a lot since then. They have a bike now that gets, better range than a Leaf by a lot, you know. And now they have electric cars that are going, 250, 300 miles or more on a charge, which is just really amazing. So it just goes to show that the industry is going to continue changing for the better. And especially with competition, from like different companies, like Harley and like Zero and Energica, and now the Japanese companies that are getting in on the industry competing together, the bikes are only going to get better.
So hey, hi, I'm back. What's the topic?
So I was just kind of talking about how the industry is developing and just how it's going to continue to get better through means of competition and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Competition is good. Is good. Even more, even
It
better.
is
Think about no competition. Energica get lazy. Hello YouTube. Hello. Oopsie.
right.
Yeah, no competition. Energica get lazy, and competition push things forward. And yeah, besides, you have a choice as a customer. It's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
No, I definitely think I'm glad there's like multiple manufacturers to keep the market healthy.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
See you
Wise
later once the
words.
wheels. But yeah, definitely. It's things are only going to get better, and the one thing I'm really excited for is when Energica, improves their charging. I think they have the battery at this point really good. I think at this point, if they could just get like just a tad bit faster charging, I think it would be really awesome. Because then, when you can fill up, or when you can like DC fast charge as fast as a gas bike, that'd be crazy. And then, you'll still have like level twos and level ones available to use, but just having that fast time would be really cool because then, you can just stop. It would be even crazier than it is now. Like you wouldn't be able to basically like, go buy a soda or something before the bike's charged.
Yeah.
But that I think that's just gonna come with time. But I suspect it's coming. It's just gonna take a little while. But right now, what they have, I will say, is very usable for the people who are like, oh, you're gonna sit at the charge stop or whatever for 30 minutes waiting for your bike to charge. That's almost never the case. Um, the only time I'll like sit with the bike normally is when I'm like DC fast charging or something, and I already have a pretty decent charge. So if I have like 60% or something, I might sit with the bike because it's only going to take about 5-10 minutes to charge up to the percentage I need. So really, most of the time, there's other things for you to do at the charge stop, so you're not just sitting there waiting for your bike to charge.
Absolutely. If you go for longer trips, I always grab some food or something and do a rest. I know those iron buds exist. They go in for hours and days on a motorcycle. But believe it or not, my experience, I ride since I'm 16 years old. This
Hmm.
is on a mountain bike, on a race bike, on a motorcycle, whatever two wheels you ride. Do a lot breaks between. It's just for your safety and healthy.
Right.
You know those behavior when you ride for hours and get frozen. If something happens, you're frozen, and you have
Right.
to keep fresh in your mind and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
keep your body awake so you can react to something. And this is the thing I say: do a lot breaks anyways. It's not do a lot breaks only on electrics. This is general for motorcycles. More breaks are or
Hmm.
doing some breaks are essential for safety. Just for these aspects.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Mm.
And that's a really good thing about the 13.4 kilowatt bikes is, they have that like 80, 100 mile range. So after, you go that range, you're probably gonna want to brake by then.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially, if you're like driving around or if you're driving around and where you're going to be more conservative on the battery and you're going to get more of a charge out of it. You're after riding at like 100 miles, you're going to be pretty tired,
absolutely. Yeah,
especially, if it's like colder out or something, you're going to want to take a break. You're
yeah.
not going to want to sit on the bike for multiple hours at a time. And
Maybe this
in some
person must be
cases,
born. Yeah,
in some cases, like that 80 miles is going to take you over, it's going to take you like over an hour and a half, 2 hours to do that. So by that time where you should be like charging, your body's going to be like really tired and want a break.
yeah.
So I think Energica really got it right when they did the range on the 13.4 kilowatt bike. And then honestly, like the 250 or the 21 and a halves are also great too.
Hmm. So
Like they,
imagine a bigger battery, same weight, but more capacity causes the next
yeah.
problem. You know. Okay,
Hmm.
on highway you can go pretty fast and drain the battery down in a short amount of time, but for everything else, this is suitable for anything. Uh,
Yeah, I actually found and I found that the best or the fastest way to drain the battery wasn't even riding on the highway. It was like just driving the thing hard. It seems like acceleration is really what drains the battery on electric bikes. So like when you like really gun it in sport mode or something like that a lot, that's going to drain the battery faster than you just cruising on the highway.
yeah, you have to crank the throttle constantly and over again. Yeah.
All right.
Or uphill when you go fast, crank the throttle.
Oh,
This eats up the
yeah.
battery pretty fast, very
Yeah.
fast. You can watch it, the battery here.
Yeah, most certainly. I definitely think uphill also drains it as well.
Yeah, it's
But
absolutely brutal.
yeah, I was going like, highway speed or highway speeds, and I was only draining like I'd say it was like 100. I usually get about 120 to 130 watt hours per mile. That's about my average. But when I was on the highway, it was only like 150 watt hours a mile. But it's when, like you're starting off and stuff, that's when you're using like the 400 watt hours per mile and you're really, draining on that battery.
Yeah. So bigger battery is good for going fast, but anything else, there's no need for.
Right.
It works proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one other argument I could say you need a bigger battery for is if your charging network's not exactly the best yet, the bigger battery would be better because then you have more distance that you can travel between charging stations.
Yes, but
So,
think about now you're buying the double size battery for let me say five grands more. Yeah. And next 1 or 2 years, the charging work is here, not charging network is here. And you think,
right.
maybe you spend. Yeah. I think the bigger battery will always cost more money. This is just a fact. And
Yeah,
people, as
certainly.
soon as a charging network is here, they will decide for the smaller battery because it's cheaper. So
Yes.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
people who has some doubts because regarding to this, wait 1 or 2 years. Yeah,
Yeah. One thing I can say, I know a lot of people get like really scared about buying a bike with only, like 80, 100, 120 miles of range. But
yeah,
I can tell you, out of the whole entire time, like I've went 500 miles on this bike so far, and I've never had even the slightest concern of like, oh, I'm not going to make it to the next charging station, or oh, I'm not going to make it home. And the
absolutely.
one time I even drove it through like the brutal cold. I mean, it was like 26 degrees, 26 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below freezing. And, the Energica just, it, it can take it. It loses range in the cold,
Yeah,
but even so, I was still able to make where I had to go easily. And I just came back home, plugged it in, and I was great.
just so
So,
just so simple. Yeah.
yeah, trust me, if you're scared about like the 80, 100 mile, 120-mile range, um, it's really not as scary as you think. Like
Mm-hmm.
at first I was kind of scared about it because my CBR gets like probably about 150 miles on a tank. But also you have to consider when I'm leaving the house on my CBR, I could possibly only have like half a tank, and if you have half a tank, then your range goes down half, so now you only have 75 miles of range.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely something to consider. That's really nice about electrics is pretty much almost all the time you leave with a full charge.
Yeah. In my experience is kind of you get some kind sixth sense pretty early after a few hundred miles to estimate the remaining range you have and how you should ride to make it back home easy way. Not, yeah.
Hmm.
It's
No,
kind. It's what you told before. Don't judge electric motorcycles before you tried one. It's the same
yes.
with those experience. You see it from a different angle, and your range anxiety and stuff will or charging point anxiety will vanish, zero dot nothing because
Hmm.
it's still not there. It's just a concern. Okay, yeah, but make your experience. Borrow some electric bike. Borrow it and it is a way. It is a way. Just so simple.
Yeah, I would highly recommend test driving any kind of electric bike if you haven't.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a different experience, and I can't I can talk to you about this all I want all day long,
Yeah, but
but it doesn't even compare to like what I tell you specs wise, numbers and all this other stuff. It just doesn't compare to actually driving the bike.
yeah, this is many people do this. They're comparing just specifications. There are zero motorcycles SR it's faster, or the SRF is faster than the SRS, and there's Energica which is for heavyweight but is faster and has the bigger battery and smaller battery, and they compare all the data, which is kind of stupid because just try it and this or that bike will suit your purpose or your the,
Right.
yeah, the type of motorcycle you like, and it's not just comparing specifications.
Hmm.
For example, I was pretty surprised about the range of the Livewire. This is so good, well done, and the consumption is, I don't know, it's hard to say, but my impression is it's better than the Energica, or it's more efficient than the Energica. It's my impression.
Hmm.
Um, but I never would buy this motorcycle because I'm not into the cruisers, you know. So
Right.
it's a very good motorcycle. I never would buy. So this is best example. Just try them, and this or that motorcycle is the right one for you. You can't say because of specifications. Yeah.
All right. Charging cycles said hub motors. What kind of riding does the unsprung weight not a factor? Should it be a concern for a non-competitive rider? So, um, as I said earlier, at least for my experience, I'm a pretty light guy. Like I'm probably at 130 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilograms, but you know, ride or just drive like pushing like even like just like at parking lot speeds, which is probably when the Energica feels like the heaviest. It wasn't really a problem to maneuver, especially with the parking assist mode and the reverse. Like it's so easy.
Yeah,
Like with my CBR, sometimes I'd have to like back it up, and then you had to like actually like push the bike force like physically, and it's just honestly, in my opinion, it was harder to like push the CBR around than it was to actually just use the throttle or use the parking assist mode and on the Energica. So, like I said earlier, I think probably around like 10 miles an hour is when the weight kind of starts to melt away. So I would say in like any kind of like parking lot scenario is where you're gonna feel the weight more, but anything past that it kind of goes away. And also my experience with the SRF and the SRS, they definitely felt lighter than the Energica in every scenario. Um, but really, I've never found the weight to be an inconvenience. I've never been like, man, this thing's so heavy to move around. Like, I can't do this.
yeah. But in general, what he asking, I think it's more like you see on Chinese market or scooters, you see they do often these hub motors
Right?
on the rear wheel,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, that's a really popular thing.
yeah, when you watch it from the in a engineering standpoint or maintenance standpoint, there's some benefits and also efficiency is on laboratory environment it's better, but
Hmm.
um, turning around, so a motorcycle which the point of gravity is pretty much outside, it's heavier
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, suspension, you can forget it, that will never work. And because of this vibration, engine can get damaged or whatever. So there are some upsides, downsides, but when we talk about is it makes it sense or not from safety standpoint, which is main on streets the most important topic besides performance and everything else, it's not that smart. It's really not that smart. But
Mhm.
we see it on the market still because you can produce vehicles way cheaper instead of a
Right.
centralized engine with all those drivetrain and gears. And this is the reason why they exist. It's not,
Because
it doesn't make sense,
yeah,
but they exist. Yeah,
yeah, I think the main reason they exist is just the price. Like you'll see a lot of
absolutely.
the cheaper end motorcycles, electric motorcycles on the market. They'll have hub motors on them, but when you start getting up to like the main brands, like Zero doesn't have any hub motor bikes. It's the same with Harley and Energica. It's much better to go with a centralized motor. It's more efficient, and also um, the weight on the hub motor is kind of in an odd spot.
Yeah, it makes besides the benefits, which is small, it makes no sense regards to safety and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Also,
totally agree.
how it feels to ride a hub motor driven motorcycle never feels that good or that convenient or that handleable. Yeah, or
Yeah,
for, you will never see a hub motor on the racetrack. Never in your life you will see that. It makes no sense. Yeah, it's
yeah.
just yeah,
It's just not. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely not the right choice when it comes to performance or like efficiency. Maybe for like a daily commuter, it would be
yeah,
all right, especially if it's in like the city, because you're not really like pushing the bike that hard or really,
yeah,
putting any pressure on it. But when it comes to actually like use or if you want to like use the bike for performance, hub motors is just not the way to go,
yeah.
sadly.
I will say scooters or some small motorcycles or commuters which you can go up to 20 or 30 miles per hour, they
Yeah,
why not adding a hub motor because it's cheaper, it's maintenance free and all
yeah,
the kind of stuff. absolutely. In this field, I see those hub motors, but not on the bigger motorcycles.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I guess
Yeah, I
this.
definitely
Yeah,
think yeah, I definitely think on the smaller bikes like that, it makes more sense just because you're going for a budget option and you want it to be, cheap, efficient, and easy. So
yeah,
when if that's the case, then hub motor is for you because you don't really care about performance that much.
yeah. But there,
You just care about getting from A to B.
I just want to say, if you have the option between hub motor or non-hub motor, choose the non-hub motor because there's a two scooter brands I knew here in Switzerland, or there are many, but one scooter brand make they decided to do a centralized engine. It's a small engine. It's not a huge one, but
Right.
and do the drivetrain and all the stuff. And they only have how do you say it in English? One the rear wheel is only fixed on one um, part of the bike, not two forks. It's just on one side. So if you want to change the rear wheel, you can just get it off, change the tire, and put back the tire on the motorcycle. Easy way done. If you have a hub motor, think about to get the rear wheel out of the motorcycle with the chain and everything. You just have to deal with that. Because also of the disc brakes and stuff, you have to figure out how it works, and it's done. With the hub motor, you have the cables from the electricity, and
Right.
there's the point. As soon the customer want to deal with high current, it's not allowed. It's strictly forbidden. So
Hmm.
because of this reason, just for legislation and home organization and make it street legal, whatever, we will only see on low tension or yeah below 100 volts motorcycle with a hub motor ever. So we'll never see a hub motor with higher tension, higher voltage running. And it's
Right.
a huge work to dismount the rear tire or rear wheel to change the tire instead of yeah. It's just how it make. It's just because it's a hub motor, half cable, half the electronics. Then it has all the other things. And believe it or not,
Yeah.
if you go to the dealer and for replacement tire replacement, it is at least the double cost for the work instead
Hmm.
of another bike. It's if you're replacing the tire way often, it's way more expensive than every other drivetrain. Just
Right.
keep that in mind. Not just
Hmm.
watching the price tag when you buy it, just also consider about the price or the total cost of ownership when you have to replace tires very often. Yeah, just
Right.
keep that in mind. Yeah,
Right. That's definitely something. And time wise, you're gonna have to spend more time with the hub motor, like taking it apart and stuff. It's more of a hassle.
yeah. Okay,
So
let's be honest. A belt can snap, and a chain you have to do maintenance all the time. Of course,
yeah.
yeah. It's not. Yeah, yeah. We can argue all time long, but yeah.
Right.
I guess that's the main reason
Yeah.
why manufacturers do this or that.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. It's the pros and cons sort of thing again.
Yeah. So, I was jumping through some comments on my videos on YouTube, and I thought maybe we answered almost everything, which was yeah so far.
Hmm.
So, do you have anything you want to share or talk about your experience, 500-mile experience so far?
Um, I just wanted to say I'm very like I'm just surprised at how easy it is. Like I did not expect it to be as easy as it is. Like at this point, the only thing I like have to do is silly things. Like I'm gonna put like spools on my bike, and I'm gonna put like a phone mount to like hold my bike. But past that, like working on the bike is just not a thing. Like I don't. My bike's at about like 7,600 miles now, and I don't have to touch it till 12,000 miles.
Yeah,
So it's all I have to do is just check tire pressure and oil the chain. That's it.
yeah, that's it.
It's so simple.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's it's very interesting so far. And next year I plan to hope, or not next year, this year. I always mess that up. But I'm planning to try to take the bike from Maryland down to North Carolina. Down to there's going to be an electric meet down there of all different kinds of bikes. So I'm hoping I can make it, but it's going to be the longest trip I've taken yet.
Yeah,
And I think I have to stop and charge. I want to say it's 9 or 10 times.
only.
So it's
Okay. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's a 600-mile trip, so it's going to be a little on
yeah,
the long side.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to, and
I hope you
it's going
cause
to be very interesting.
yeah, I hope you caused some confusion down there because they never saw an electric motorcycle or only a few of it. And I guess
Hmm.
you're facing towards a lot of questions. Is it electric and how it performs and how yeah.
I get that all the time, like especially when I plug in or whatever at a charging station. All the time, I get people like asking, like, "What is that? Is that thing plugged into your bike?" And yeah, yeah, it's electric. Yep.
Yeah.
Um, like the one, it was funny. I was parking at this one Walmart to go like return something or whatever, and I had this guy come all the way across the parking lot to come talk to me because he was
Yeah.
so curious. It was
My
so funny.
yeah. I knew. My weirdest experience being regard to this was, I was on a red light and waiting, and then someone came up. I saw him in the mirror back there. Someone came in front, and I thought, maybe no, he wanna argue about something. You never know. And he was asking, hey dude, awesome motorcycle, so awesome. Just I saw it before, and then the light gone green, and yeah, thank you. I have to go. I have to go. Yeah, yeah. I just want to say it's yeah, thumbs up, man. Then
Hmm.
I drove ahead. Next red light. He comes again. Talk to me, and at some point he asked which brand it is. Which brand? Yeah, it's Energica. I never heard. What kind of brand? What kind of motorcycle? Yeah, it's in. They make electric motorcycles and stuff. And at this moment, he didn't understand what I said. Electric? What? It was so funny. So
Yeah.
it can happen so weird and funny stuff.
Hmm.
As you said, he walked across the entire parking stuff just to ask. It's the same with me. It's weird things can happen when you ride electric. It's that's
Oh
just
yeah,
standard.
most certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I or sometimes I drive through this park or whatever, and when I was driving through the park, like everybody was turning their heads because it just sounds so different from
Yeah.
like a normal motorcycle. Because normally they expect loud exhaust or something like that. It's just like you just hear like this like weird noise, and they're just like, "The heck is that?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely piques a lot of curiosity on people, and even like EV owners, like a lot of people who own electric vehicles don't even know that electric bikes exist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some charger is at the same spot where some Tesla chargers are. Plenty Tesla charger, and then have
Hmm.
some a single charger for public. And
Hmm.
sometimes I charge, and they come over and talk. It's normal for EV people. They talk always when they're charging, and they asking,
Hmm.
is it electric or? And I said, no, it's hybrid. It's hybrid. Just joking with them, but yeah, of course it's electric. And as you told, they some of them they didn't know they exist. They exist, and I think
Yeah.
okay, it's 2021. Maybe then I give them some business cards for my YouTube channel. I just have a just watch. So you think we will find valuable information on my channel, and yeah,
Mm. Yeah, I just think, especially because electrics have been kind of been growing in popularity. I think it's just like something so different. Like I think a lot of people get like intrigued and interested by it because it's just something they're not used to seeing. Like, people have seen like electric cars pretty much since the Nissan Leaf came out,
Yeah,
and to see an electric motorcycle is just really, really weird. And for some people, like um, the at my work, like I had one customer just walk up to me and ask me like, "Is that your bike outside?" And then just like we had like a 15-minute conversation just like about like what it is and all that stuff. So it's just it's really interesting to see like the intro. Like I with my CBR, I pretty much never had anybody like come up to and ask me like, "Hey, like what is this thing?"
yeah, yeah,
They just knew it was it was just a gas sport bike. They're all over the place, but to see like this new and crazy technology, and my bike's 4 years old. There's even better bikes out there than mine.
yeah. So
So
if you don't want that people come or strangers came to you, talk to you and ask you about this motorcycle, don't buy an electric. It will happen very often, definitely.
yeah,
But
no, you definitely get a lot of people coming up to you and
yeah,
asking you what's
it
up.
it will rise a lot of attention. But I like it. I like it. I'm the guy for that. Maybe at some point it can be getting annoying. Who knows? It never happened to me, but different people,
I haven't had
different
that.
acceptance. Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't had that happen yet. I think the only time I would get annoyed is if like some like gasser guy walked up to me and started giving me crap about it, but I haven't had that happen yet.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's a really different experience. Like you just can't compare. It's hard to compare it to gas. Well,
It has two wheels. What? Yeah, what's
like
different?
it's just so yeah. It's just crazy to see like you know just like it's such a different experience. Like dealing with like charging and just riding's easier. Like charging's so different because normally I'm used to just like filling up or whatever, but now I just plug it in and walk away. It's so weird.
Yeah,
But yeah, electric is just it's definitely here to stay. That's for sure. It's not going anywhere.
hmm. So I think there's no any other questions from anyone anywhere anyhow. So yeah, I think we're up. We're heading to almost 3 hours live streaming. Probably I will upload the entire video. I don't know. Maybe I will cut
Yeah.
it. I don't know. Just leave it like it is.
Mm.
And yeah, I will do live stream next month, first week next month or whatever. So by the way, I have major changes coming up. Just heading, just yeah, how I saying, I will have a new flat in a new city, starting a new job and stuff. So probably there will soon be some time, but it's winter here. You will not see so much videos and stuff from my channel and no live stream at all. But as soon as possible, I will come up with live streaming again. And one bike is not enough. A new bike will come soon. People have rumors about and yeah, thank you. And yeah, just after
Yeah.
whatever new bike will come up because the Energica is pretty good for street riding, street racing, street fuckery, and yeah, when as troubleshooter, Energica suits perfect. It's a perfect cyber bike. Yeah, it's amazing, but. It, to do some other stuff, wheelies or stunts or just guarded chipping, going anywhere with the bike, it's not the right bike for
Yeah.
that. So I consider, or I think since a long time, which bike could be suitable for stunt riding, for commuting, for
Hmm.
for the stuff, and finally I find some solution and will come up beginning or next middle or spring next year. No, this year, spring this year. Sorry. Yeah. But I don't release anything about which bike will it be. But some people are pretty hard guessing here, and yeah. But I will keep the Energica as well. Of course, I will. Yeah, this is my black beast. I will love it. I love it at all. And
Yeah.
yep. By the way, hey, how is wait, let me show you. I totally forgot. Nope. How is it called? Your YouTube channel? Maybe I can show the people.
Oh yeah, it's called Energetic, and yeah, it's Energetek.
It's right.
So yeah,
Maybe.
so yeah, I just got my first video posted up probably about a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm working on editing my second video now. So the second one that I'm working on, I just was going to talk about like my history and experience with electrics, and go more into depth than I did today.
Yeah. I think you have a lot topics you want to talk about because the live stream is delayed.
Yeah.
But did I wrote it right? Energetic, or is it different?
It's no, it's Energetek.
Oh, with K.
Yeah, I had to go a little fancy, you know.
Yeah, of
Can't
course.
can't go too mainstream. But yeah. So coming up, I definitely have some top or some content about like just my history of like why did I buy the bike I did,
Yeah.
and
Hot topic.
also yeah, it is a hot topic. And also another thing that is coming up, it's TEK. But another thing that's coming up, I'm definitely
Oh,
gonna try working on. I have a lot of editing to do for it, but I'm gonna try to show how I put heated gear on my bike,
yeah.
and so that'll be coming up as well for anybody interested in that. And yeah, I'm just gonna continue to keep trying to post content. Once the weather gets warmer here, hopefully I'll be able to get more weekly moto vlogs, but right now it's kind of on the cold side. Still like in the 30s, so
Yeah.
not exactly the warmest riding weather.
It's
And
the
it's
same
been,
for me. It's pretty cold. Yeah.
yeah, same, with snow, like it's just snow and salt and all that stuff. So hopefully, right now it's winter, but hopefully in the next month or two it'll be really good so that I can get up weekly moto vlogs for you guys and talk about different things you want to hear about. So definitely, in the comments, just let me know what you want to hear from my videos so I can talk about it and show you guys. Like experience, range, whatever you want to talk about, I will most certainly help you guys out.
Yeah. Hey, did you already receive the Cyberbike stickers I sent you? Or
I haven't yet, but I'll check the mail.
yeah.
I haven't checked the mail yet today, so we'll see.
Yeah. Sometimes
It's also come from far away.
yeah. Sam, it took more than 3 weeks to get there. So sometimes it takes some time around the globe, but yeah.
Right.
So hey, this is my mission. I want to spread the emotions, the vibe, the excitement for electric motorcycle. What? Yeah, I hope this video helps some doubters or haters or whatever, or maybe you consider to buy electric and yeah, to go electric. Maybe your excitement is also for cyber bikes and want to enter this field. Hey, everyone is
Hmm.
appreciated. Is yeah, welcome to our small family. So yeah,
Yeah.
electric revolution can start. Even more members we got. And I think
Yeah.
your kind of content you will create is pretty valuable because I totally missed that kind of topics. I do different videos, and in the
Hmm.
future, next year, I will change also my videos like a little bit. So
Hmm.
this standard or this obvious questions, it's pretty cool. You take care about, and this is what people want to know. And I never, I had different electric motorcycles before. For me, it was not a topic anymore. So I see no reason why I should answer those things. But they're pretty
Hmm.
common of everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have some good plans in the future. Also, one thing I have a plan for when I take that trip, I think I'm going to be going with another guy who has a live wire, so that's going to be really interesting to compare bikes on such a long trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see like charging speeds and all those other things. So that's going to be in the future as well.
Absolutely. That's cool.
So yeah, definitely like and subscribe to both of our channels for more content like this.
Yeah, hit that button. Ba, 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 bam. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hit the button, buy some merch, and hey, I hope this content is valuable for you, help you out. Um,
Yeah,
next time we sending live, same thing, same questions. You can spontaneously ask questions as much you want, and we will answer that. Yep. So so far for this, I
yeah,
thank you for watching. Have a safe
yeah.
ride, and see you next time. I would say ride fast, charge faster. Po!
Right. Yeah, yeah. See you guys later.